Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Riska. Can we please have the roll call?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Mrs. Sarowski?
Here.
Mrs. Koski?
Present.
Mr. Radke?
Present.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Yanes?
Here.
Mrs. Yargo?
Present.
Council, we need approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item on our agenda tonight is a report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I have a few items in my report this evening. First, I want to spend just a couple minutes talking about infrastructure. We talk about it often, and the community hears how we're spending money on roadways. In fact, hundreds of millions of dollars. You all experience it in the construction season. We apologize for that, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain. So we're not only improving roadways all across the city, but we're also improving infrastructure beneath the roads. We spend millions every year on water and sewer improvements, and that includes stormwater as well. We have a vast network of infrastructure. And what I wanted to highlight tonight is an area that we probably don't think often very much about. We know we have water mains, we know we have sewer lines, we know we have roadways, but we have a lot of drains throughout the city as well. Creeks and drains that run through and also drain into the Clinton River and the watershed area. And it's really important to keep those drains clear and free. And we're really proud of the partnership that we've established with the Macomb Public Works Office and Commissioner Miller and her staff in working in partnership to get these areas cleaned out. I wanted to highlight one this evening, the Gibson Drain. And it's in the northwest quadrant of our city. You can see it on the screen before you. In this particular area, it was in Delia Park, kind of toward the center of the park. And you can see how vast some of these drains are. Often you don't even know they're there, but they help to drain neighborhoods during rain events and inclement weather throughout the year. So let me show you this picture because this is what we've been working hard to do all across the city with all of our drains. So in this case, you can see those log jams. And there have been many of these all over Sterling Heights over the years. But over the last 4 or 5 years, we have spent a lot of time and resources getting all these cleaned up. And it's because of a very proactive position of the Public Works Office at the county level to address these, not only in Sterling Heights, but countywide. So you can see on the left the significant jam. You can see the heavy-duty equipment that's required to remove these. And then you can see on the right how it's cleared up. And it just makes sense that now the drain is going to flow more freely. We also had this in the Clinton River. Some of you may recall the days when you could not canoe or kayak in the Clinton River. That, too, caused major problems, flooding and the like, all across that watershed. So we were able to work with a grant, a $5 million grant to clean up the Clinton River. But I wanted to highlight this because it's so important. Infrastructure beneath our feet, but also some of the infrastructure that's hidden in the woods behind homes and in these drains. So again, I want to thank the Macomb County Public Works Office for their collaborative spirit in helping the city get these drains cleaned up. And now shifting to an even more exciting update, I'll call on our Public Works Director, since he's here for another presentation as well, to talk about the Doggy Splash Pad Party.
Parks and Rec.
Public Works Director?
Parks and Rec.
Did I say Public Works? Parks and Rec.
I'm good. I do not want that job title, so, Mr. Moore's doing a fine job, so. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity to get up and talk about something, fun and something new to the, Parks and Recreation Department. I don't actually have any slides for this event here, but, you know, we continue to find ways, different ways for people to recreate around the city, and certainly since we brought the dog park in with Recreating Recreation, continuing to find ways to support our residents with their four-legged friends, and even some that are non-residents too. But today, we're talking about this Thursday. We have a couple events that'll be held in conjunction with the Dodge Park Farmers Market. First, we are bringing back our beloved annual Pet Day at the market, which will include a pet parade. People who come to that event with their dogs certainly welcome dogs and pets. Doesn't have to be dogs. Any pet that can be on a leash or contained. But they'll be able to shop from pet-specific vendors in addition to our regular slate of vendors at the market. We'll also have a opportunity for them to walk their pets on the runway in the farmers market for a chance to win prizes, courtesy of one of our sponsors, Pet Supplies Plus, as well as some of our other market vendors. And that is free. It's open to all vendors, open to all pets, but again, must remain on a leash. And we do ask that people make sure their pets are comfortable being around a large crowd of people. Second is something that I'm very excited about this year, and that is a new event exclusive to our dog park annual pass holders, and that is our Doggy Splash Pad. I'm going to say party, although potty is probably more appropriate. We'll have 2 sessions from 5 to 8:30 p.m. based on the dog size. Dogs and their humans can splash around and enjoy one last day in the Dodge Park Splash Pad before we close up for the season. So once again, this event is free for dog park pass holders only. And if you are interested and you're not a dog park pass holder, there's actually still time to get that dog park pass. You can get that done at the Parks and Recreation Department in the Community Center. And interested pass holders can get registered for this event by contacting the Parks and Recreation Department by 5 p.m. tomorrow, which would be September 3rd. We're excited to see our splash pad get used in a different way than it's ever been used before. So again, finding new ways and creative ways for our residents to enjoy recreation in our park system. So I appreciate that opportunity to highlight these 2 events. For more information, anybody can contact the Parks and Recreation Department at 586-446-2700.
And Mayor, while Mr. Langlois is here and presenting, I wanted to give a shout out to him. He's the incoming president of the Michigan Parks and Recreation Association. He is viewed across the state as a leader in the business, is incredibly innovative, and you'll see his ingenuity on display tonight with the agreement we'll be talking about shortly. But we have benefited immensely in Sterling Heights because of Kyle's leadership, and I just wanted to thank him and give him a shout out. Mayor, moving on, I'm really excited to introduce this item. For a few years now, we have been working on this project, and it's finally coming to fruition. As you well know, we are a large enough city with 70,000 jobs and major Fortune 500 companies and a vast network of suppliers in automotive, aerospace, defense, not to mention our commercial corridors and soon to be the Lakeside City Center. We have thousands of people that use our public transportation system run by SMART. Not only the fixed bus network, but we have a paratransit program run out of our Parks and Recreation Department and other offshoots of public transportation. So we've been working really hard on this program that we're announcing tonight that will be a model for the metropolitan area and likely could serve as an extension of what SMART may be doing region-wide. So I want to start out the presentation with our Assistant City Manager, Haley Bradley, who's going to provide an overview of this exciting, one-of-a-kind program.
Thank you. It's a little rough to go after a dog party, but we will try. So good evening, Mayor Taylor, City Council members, Mr. Vanderpool, Mr. Kashubski, and residents of Sterling Heights. I'm pleased to introduce an innovative pilot program designed to enhance the public transit experience for Sterling Heights residents while also supporting local businesses in a meaningful way. As you know, Smart Transportation is the only regional public transit provider in Southeast Michigan, serving Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne counties. It is funded by federal and state resources, as well as local contributions through transit property tax millage from participating communities. This year, the city of Sterling Heights anticipates collecting $5.6 million to support SMART services. The SMART bus system operates a range of fixed routes and curb-to-curb services, featuring 47 bus routes and over 5,300 stops throughout the region. In 2015, in partnership with SMART, we improved 12 bus stops along Van Dyke, 2 of which received shelters, while 10 were upgraded with pads, benches, trash cans, and bike racks. Additionally, SMART updated the stops to ensure at least a walkway connection from the sidewalk to the curb. Currently, SMART is exploring further enhancements for fixed route stops across the region. However, to kickstart that process, the city of Sterling Heights has partnered with SMART, Macomb County, and Creative Outdoor Advertisements to launch a pilot program aimed at enhancing fixed route stops throughout our community while promoting local businesses. This initiative has the potential to serve as a model for the entire region. I want to emphasize that the service agreement does not require formal council approval, as it will not create any financial obligations to the city. I would now like to introduce Ryan Fox, Planner 2, to share a little bit more about enhancing the city's transit stops. Following him, Lynn Terlaga, sorry if I did not say that right, from Creative Outdoor, who will discuss the program and its implementation process. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm excited if I can get the presentation on the screen here, please. There we go. Alrighty, so we're going to be talking about our partnership with Creative Outdoor, a place to sit and a place to advertise. So I'm going to give a little bit of a rundown of what our current transit system looks like, with a notable change that will be coming in the next couple years. I'll go over that though in a moment. So these are the current fixed bus routes that we do have in the city. A total of 6 routes, one on DeQuinder, one on Van Dyke, one on Shaner, one that connects Lakeside to Garfield. It's only a very small portion of the city. One on 14 Mile and one on 15 Mile Road. I did add kind of an orange line you can see on the screen that shows a new Mound Road bus route that'll be added. That should say sometime 27 and 28. That's the time frame that SMART is looking to add that. That would obviously include new stops, as there currently are no stops on Mound Road. Looking a little further, I did go through and count every single stop that is within the city, and this is the total numbers. And we have about 299 total stops in the city, so just shy of 300 based on all of these routes. So our partnership with Creative Outdoor is to take these bus stops and essentially enhance them with the addition of benches, better trash receptacles, where currently we may not have any. So you can see 2 images right there. That's one of our improved bus stops on the top there. You can see Tigris Tower and the Zap Zone in the background there. So this is in our North Van Dyke Avenue district. So this is an example of an improved bus stop at Van Dyke and Riverland. And the second one is also on Van Dyke Avenue, located just south of Plumbrook. As you can see, that one is simply just a sign stuck in the ground. And here's some more bus stops that do exist in the city. So this, the one on the top there you can see is by Havel Elementary over on Shaner. You can see it's just a sign stuck to a power pole. And then the one on the bottom is at 15 Mile and Shell Drive. You can see a resident kind of standing nearby with their stuff near the sign. Could definitely use a place to sit and a place to be comfortable. So our partnership with Creative Outdoor, and I'll let Lynn kind of go into more of the specific details, but the partnership with Creative Outdoor will get us more towards an improved bus stop model where we'll see benches or trash cans and kind of overall just an improvement at a decent number of our stops. And with that, I'd like to introduce Lynn Terlaga from Creative Outdoor.
Mayor Taylor, Council, and Mr. Vanderpool, thanks for inviting me in tonight to tell you a little bit about Creative Outdoor. We are the largest provider of public-private partnerships for street furniture in North America. We've been around for 41 years. We have about 320 agreements with different municipalities as well as transit authorities. We have 34,000 units in place, and we work with 10,000 different sponsorship clients. There we go. And what do? So we provide fully serviced, cost-free amenity programs. We have expertise in waste management as well as in ADA-compliant public space seating. We innovate. We have a lot of experience in product innovation. We design all of our own products, work with a manufacturer on our specifications. And we also work with local businesses in the community to help them expand their businesses. Our core philosophies are that we believe in giving back to the community, and we do this in a couple of ways. One is through complimentary advertising to the community to promote different events that you have within the city, different things that the city has going on. We also share a portion of our revenue with the city, and in this case for Sterling Heights, it would be 5% on the recycling bins and 15% on the benches. We also have a job creation feature where we hire local residents. We believe firmly that our street furniture has to contribute to the quality of life in the community, which is part of the reason we've been around for so long. Everything has to be well-maintained and blend into the streetscape. Sponsorship messages have to uphold the community standards, and I'm going to cover this in a little bit more detail in a minute. So how does the program work? It's totally cost-free. So it's funded through small local businesses. We don't require any labor or any personnel from the city. It creates a revenue stream for Sterling Heights, and all of our installations are all ADA compliant, and that's our job to make sure that everything is compliant. The city controls the program entirely as far as the placement of the units. So it's up to the city on where they're placed. We'll help guide you, and we'll do a complete audit to show you options as well as to follow any recommendations that you give us. But everything is located on public property, and we work with the state, the county, the city, and handle all the approvals. If we're invited in, we do a complete audit. We provide a detailed report to the city which shows everything that we're going to do. It gives you the longitude, the latitude, the street address. We're going to be doing some concrete work and installing concrete pads, so we're going to show you, is it going to be, do we need rebar, the slope, anything that has to do to make that site compliant. We're going to detail that in the report. Then you'll have the opportunity to review each and every location and approve them or reject them. And cities always have construction going on. You have enough going on as well. So if anything needs to be moved, you'll just give us a call and give us 48 hours notice, and we'll take it out. If we need to relocate it later, we will put it back in place if that's possible. Everything is funded through sponsorships, and it's really small local businesses that we work with. So most people have heard about the Shop Local movement, and that's our business all year long. So we work with small local businesses in the community. We have over 10,000 sponsorship clients. Our renewal rate is about 75%, and most of our sponsors stay with us year after year for an average of 7 years. The designs have to comply with the Human Rights Code, advertising standards, the American Code of Advertising Standards, and all applicable laws. But we're a very family-focused company, so all of the message that we design, we do it in-house. So we don't hire outside designers. We design everything on our own, and we're very strict on what we allow and what we don't allow. So we also have a team of salespeople who are highly trained to work with the small local businesses. A portion of the revenue comes back to us to pay us for our capital investment, and then we share a portion with our municipal sponsors. The process is really pretty simple. Once the partnership agreement is approved, within 2 weeks we're out and we start our site analysis, and we will give you a final report at the end of that 2 weeks. Once you approve the locations that you would like the units installed. We order the inventory, and it's usually about 12 to 16 weeks for us to get that inventory delivered to us. During that time, we're installing the concrete pads, making sure everything is ADA compliant as we install it. Once that inventory is received, we're going to install it within 1 to 2 weeks. The installation's usually complete about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the number of units that are approved. And for this project, our anticipated completion date is spring in 2026. The only thing that would really affect that is weather or if we have any manufacturing delivery delays, but they usually go right on time. So the products that we're using that have been selected is our Lexington bench. It comes with armrests. It will not have vagrancy bars. If you'd like to add those later, we can put those on. But they're designed to really be sturdy. They're PVC coated. They don't chip. They're graffiti resistant. Everything has an ultraviolet finish so that they're not, they don't fade as well. And then our recycling bins, we have 2 models. One is our Metro bin. This unit, well, both units actually have 90 gallons. They have 30-gallon silos, so everything is separated. They're also designed, the size of the slots are designed to really help eliminate or reduce contamination. This is our terrace unit. It's a little smaller footprint, but has all the same features. And the tops are all sloped so that people don't normally put a coffee cup or a lunch bag on top. They usually put it in the right container. Our service and maintenance, we really take a proactive approach. So our success throughout many municipalities has depended on our ability to keep everything clean and well-maintained. All of our sponsors are local, so if they see anything that needs to be done, they call us immediately. And how we do that, when we visit each site, we're going to take care of anything that's there. We're going to clean the immediate area. We're going to move any graffiti, if there's any graffiti, any vandalism. We're going to keep the messages current. We also check the structural integrity of the unit. On the case of recycling bins, we're going to handle the collection. We're going to pick that up. We're going to bring it to the recycling facility, as well as the waste. So how we do that, how we track everything is really important, especially for your Public Works Department. Once we install a unit, it's barcoded. So we know exactly what's going on with each unit. We're going to clean the benches once a month. Weekly, we handle the recycling bins. Each unit is scanned every time that we visit that site, and that's all uploaded to our server, which you have access to 24/7. We work on full transparency, so your staff can go in anytime and see everything that's been done. All of the work orders are verified with photos, so not only do you see that the work was done, but you have a photo that proves it. If anyone on your team sees something that needs to be handled, they can go right to our website and put in a work order that goes right to our team's scanner, so they get that pretty quickly. One of the features of our software system is that anyone on your team can sign up to get a report, either in Excel, Word, or PDF, and it can be delivered to their inbox at any time, daily, weekly, or monthly. Customer service, we really pride ourselves on customer service. You have 3 ways to get to us. You can either email us, you can issue your own work order, which goes right to us, or you can call us on our hotline. We have a 48-hour response time and a 24-hour response time for anything that's serious, anything involving an accident or that could be dangerous, and usually we're there within 4 hours. And in conclusion, that's pretty much our program. The only thing that I didn't mention is that we indemnify our partners for any risk. And that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of our program. We've been around for about 41 years, so we really have a lot of experience in this type of program. So happy to answer any questions.
And Mayor, just in closing, on my end, I want to thank Creative Outdoor for their good work, and Lynn's been hard at work on this, and also our Community Development Director, Jason Castor, who's been very involved in this, and certainly our legal team, they've spent a lot of time. But we've had a lot of team members involved in this, working on it, including our partners at SMART in the county. This is a pilot program. So we're looking for feedback from the community, from transit users, from the city council. We're starting with 35 to 40 stops, but our hope is that it expands. SMART's hope is that this expands throughout the metro area. So it's win-win. It's win for the city, it's win for transit users, it's win for SMART, and it's also a great opportunity for creative outdoor to actually get into this market. I think they're looking to expand in the United States, so this will be good in that respect. And let me just say, some of you have probably seen some of these images. When you have a worker standing out in inclement weather at 5 in the morning, waiting for their bus on Van Dyke, and there's not a concrete pad, and they're standing in mud, and there's not a trash receptacle around, that's anything but inviting. And frankly, it's inhumane. We should not have that. It should not exist across the transit system. And in Sterling Heights, we're changing that with this program. So we look forward to rolling this out and look forward to everyone's feedback. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. I guess before we move on, I will open it up to the council if there are any questions. Mr. Yanis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for clarification, will there be a connection between the pads and the sidewalks?
Yes.
Through the chair, please.
Yes.
Okay, you're putting in the connection between the pad and the sidewalk?
No, we're putting in the pad, but in some cases, I think we've agreed to work with the city on those extensions from the sidewalk to the,
Are we,
yeah.
through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, is that part of the plan that we're going to have the pads connected to the sidewalks?
That is part of the plan, Councilman Yanis.
Thank you, that's all. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Mr. Radke.
Yes, thank you very briefly. I'm curious, what about shade for users? I guess through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, because eventually I think that that's one of the biggest concerns, not just a place, and I appreciate the pads, because we want to make it safe to get on the bus, but I think one of the things that draws people back from using public transit is because there is no shade in a lot of these locations.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Councilman Radke, and I overlooked that. Ideally, it'd be great to have 300 permanent shelters across the system as well, but what we did with the pilot program is focus on our most used stops with SMART. Now, the heavily used stops already have shelters on them along Van Dyke. We were able to get those installed as indicated earlier a number of years ago. But until we were able to get shelters installed, we do plan to plant trees at all these locations to provide that level of comfort at least. So our riders are not baking in the sun as they're standing out waiting for the bus. So we'll have to strategically locate them so that it still can accommodate a shelter perhaps in the future. So again, with this initial rollout, we're getting a concrete pad, we're getting better connectivity from the sidewalk, we're getting a bench, a trash receptacle, far more aesthetically pleasing than what we have now, and obviously the comfort level is enhanced significantly.
Well, I completely agree. I think it's a step in the right direction. I just was wondering, you answered my question, because that's what I often see riders doing, is that they will put their stuff at the stop, and they'll step back into whatever shade is available to stop from cooking. I guess the other question I had, and this is through the chair, Mr. Vanderpool, is have we spoken with SMART about evaluating our bus stop network to see if we could make any reductions? Because I feel like we have a lot of stops in the city, and when I'm traveling around, some of them are used a lot, and some of them I've never seen a rider at ever. So I was just curious about that.
And Councilman Radke, yes, we have met with SMART. They are evaluating our entire system. You heard that they've already made some tweaks. They're adding a route on Mound, as you noted. They will be consolidating some stops. Those are stops that will not be getting these improvements. So remember, we still have another 260 or so stops that won't be improved. This is just, as you indicated, a step in the right direction. In addition, we're working with Smart on the new layout at the Lakeside City Center as well. We've been engaged with them in that area as well. So short answer to your question is yes.
I have one final question. I guess for the chair to Mr. Gala from Great Outdoors. Will you also be shoveling the stops in the winter? Would that be on the city or Smart Bus to make the stops accessible in wintertime?
Yeah, the city will continue to do the same work that they do now. When we are there during our normal course of work, we'll clean off the benches, make sure that they're cleaned off.
Okay. I guess through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, are we going to clear these stops in the wintertime to make sure that they're accessible?
Councilman Yanis, they have to be accessible.
Radke.
Radke.
Having a day.
All right, Councilman Radke, yes, they have to be accessible, so we'll work with our partners at Smart and the county. We'll figure out a way to get them cleared. Obviously, now we don't have to clear them, but we will have to clear them, and that will be done.
Excellent. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Mayor Taylor?
Radke. Mrs. Schmidt.
Thank you. First of all, I guess I'm surprised and didn't realize that Mound had 0 bus stops, which is kind of bizarre. So long overdue on Mound. And through the chair to Ms. Terlaga, can you tell me, as far as advertising, what is a typical cost for advertising for a business owner?
It's around $100, $150 a month.
Okay, and are you going to offer it to Sterling Heights businesses?
Yes.
First?
Yes, absolutely.
And so if we get more businesses than benches or whatever, we'll pick the Sterling Heights businesses first?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Terlaga. I appreciate your presentation, and Mr. Fox and Ms. Bradley, appreciate that, and we're looking forward to this new project at Sterling Heights. Thank you. All right, Mr.
Mayor,
Vanderpool, anything else?
you'll be glad to know that concludes my report. Thank you.
Oh, we were moving on, whether or not. But I'm glad. Thank you. Okay, we have a presentation tonight. This is to adopt a resolution recognizing and congratulating the Artemovich family on the milestone of EA Graphics' 50th anniversary. We have a presentation from our Marketing and Communications Manager, Marissa Russo. Ms. Russo.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, members of council, and everyone in attendance. Tonight it's my honor to recognize a business that has been a cornerstone in both Sterling Heights and across Michigan for the past 5 decades, EA Graphics, celebrating 50 years in business. EA Graphics products produced right here in Sterling Heights have supported some of the largest public events in Michigan and beyond. From the Detroit Grand Prix and Woodward Dream Cruise to the Michigan High School Athletic Association Championships, the NFL Super Bowl, the NCAA Final Four, March of Dimes, and the Special Olympics. They've also worked with an impressive roster of clients, including General Motors, Ford Motor Company, Stellantis, Little Caesars, Microsoft, and Tim Hortons. Regardless of the size of the customer or scale of the event, EA Graphics has remained committed to delivering quality products on time and at a fair price. Each program is thoughtfully customized from the ground up to reflect the client's unique brand, vision, and goals. Over the past year, I've had the pleasure of working directly with EA Graphics team on the launch of our Where Sterling Heights community store. The level of care, time, and passion they've dedicated to this project showed me firsthand what so many of us already know. EA Graphics is not just a business in our city, they are a true partner, invested in the success and pride of this community. Sterling Heights is home to the Artemovich family. Bob and Elaine raised their children here, and today EA Graphics operates out of their impressive 86,000 square foot headquarters on Van Dyke at 18.5 Mile Road. Their support for our city has been constant, from outfitting municipal employees to ensuring the success of community-wide events, including sponsorship of the fireworks show capping off the 50th anniversary of Music in the Park just this past Thursday. Their generosity has extended even beyond Sterling Heights. Following the tragic Oxford High School shooting in 2021, EA Graphics donated more than $300,000 to Oxford High School and the Oxford community through the sales of Oxford Strong apparel. This is the type of commitment that shows why EA Graphics has such a lasting, positive impact not only on our city, but on the region as a whole. At this time, I'd like to invite Rich from EA Graphics to join me at the podium and share a few words.
He's like, nope. Thank you for the honor. It's very nice to be
part of this community for so long. Growing up at 15 Mile in Moravian, 48 years old. My parents started the company basically in their basement. Being here in the city for probably, I think, around 35 years now. I was just sitting there thinking about, there's probably a good chance that between the two locations here in Sterling Heights, we've probably printed over 70 million T-shirts out of the two facilities over that time. It's been an honor to be a part of this, and being a second generation in the business. And my dad always says, third generation. My grandmother worked in the business, and now my oldest son is working in the business too. Ricky, he's here with us, and my little Daniel over there, who he had to wear his EA Graphics shirt today, but he didn't want to come up here. So thank you very much for this honor. It's great.
Thank you for those words. Congratulations again to EA Graphics on 50 years of success, service, and community partnership. We're proud to celebrate this milestone with you. At that conclusion, I'll bring it back to City Council for action, and then I will invite you guys to come down and take a photo with the Artemovich family.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Russo. Council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zerko.
resolve to adopt the resolution recognizing and congratulating the Artemovich family on the milestone of EA Graphics' 50th anniversary. Support.
Been moved and supported. Do you want to go first,
I'm
Ms.
gonna try.
Zarko?
I'm going to try. I've had a front row seat to the evolution of this business. To say that Rich might say, oh yeah, my parents told me about drying the shirts on wire hangers in the basement. I witnessed it. I know that through the years when equipment became available and Bob needed help, he'd call my husband and Tom would go and help him move equipment. The first dryer he ever had after the hangers, Tom helped him pick up. And through the years, what you don't see is when you walk into his business, it's a place where you have the ability for second chances, where people come in and they might not be able to find a job somewhere else, and Bob gives them a chance. English is spoken sometimes as a second language, where they're actually teaching people how to speak English in the facility. There are so many things that happen there that we aren't even talking about tonight. Over the years, we've had a lot of tears and a lot of laughs, and I could tell you one of the things that I remember. We don't mention in the resolution that he also had the Ohio High School championships, and when he was going for the contract, he called Tom and he says, you want to drive to Columbus with me? And Tom said, sure, I'll go to Columbus with you. And when Bob came to pick him up, Tom said, do you really want this contract? And he says, well, yeah. He says, well, then you better take that U of M shirt off. So in the back, it's a good thing he had something to put on in the back of his car, but he really wanted it. I mean, those are things that I think about. Not only that, is we have a picture somewhere of actually Ricky selling his first T-shirt at Sterling Fest. And he's a sophomore in college now, and it was because the adults were so busy talking and somebody came up to buy a shirt that he just sold the shirt. I mean, it was, something to remember. Daniel is still on the line. He's folding shirts and taking them off the line, so he hasn't had any sales yet. But it's been interesting. They are a great family. When you see the interactions of not just Bob's kids, but the cousins, and when they all come together, and the aunts and the uncles, and he never forgets anybody. It's like he's always there. If somebody needs help, he's there to help them. Complains the whole time, but he's always there. But it's something that I remember. We don't mention, I don't think, Special Olympics in here either. That's one of the events that was Tom's favorite when he worked. And we can't forget the Woodward family reunion where, if you could breathe, you had to work on Woodward selling shirts for the Dream Cruise. And it got to be that you looked forward to that, seeing the people that were working with you every year. We all complained about it, but it was just an experience. But
owning a business like this is not easy. There's ups and downs and things that you don't see about. It's how he takes care of his employees as far as health care and things like that. And if they need anything, he's there for them. So those are the things that you don't see, and that's what makes a family business, and that's what makes a successful family business. And I can't be more proud to be a part of your family. I didn't think I was going to get all choked up about this tonight, but it's like, I talked to my sister the other day and I said to her, how old were you when you sold shirts for Bob? And she said, it's the 50th anniversary. And I said, yeah. She says, I was 15. She says, and Debbie was 14. So, and that was on the riverfront. Not long ago, they had an event. It was a championship in Ohio, and my sister, he was close, like 7 miles from where my sister lived, and he says, is your sister available on such and such? My sister actually worked for him a couple years ago at an event that was at Lorraine Community College. So it's that kind of friendship and camaraderie that he has that has made this business successful. I couldn't be happier for you. And, you know, Daniel will bring you up to another 50 years, so you're going to be good. But yes, so congratulations. It's been a ride. Nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Sarko. Very well said. Council, anyone else? Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. So congratulations. I have to say the Artemoviches live 2 streets away from me, and their daughter Josie was my first babysitter. So, you know, we've been part of that family as well. I can remember my daughter Natalie on Rich's shoulders at the Polish Festival behind the shirt tent. You know, so they have touched a lot of families, both on purpose and not, I think. You know, a lot of joy is brought through a lot of very creative sayings on your shirts. And, you know, I couldn't be more happy for your success and your continued success. And I know you will carry on for many, many years to come. And you have, you know, the upcoming generation already involved, and that's perfect. So congratulations, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. I will be brief, or at least briefer than Mrs. Siarko, with that wonderful attribution to you guys. My husband and I, more my husband, but we've known Bob and Elaine for about 20 years at least, maybe a bit longer, and always have been so helpful with us. If we've needed T-shirt orders or apron orders yesterday, I will get them yesterday if we ask them. They're so good, and their business has been such a great asset to the city. And just to see, I drive by there every day on my way to and from work, and just to see how it's a huge building. That's how much he has contributed to the city, still continues to contribute, and it's wonderful to see such a thriving business. I'm so grateful that you guys are doing that, and congratulations, and you're very welcome. And yes, I'm sure you had the family numbers that you can go another 50 years, so congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Mrs. Koski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bob and Elaine, you're more like family. I've had the pleasure of watching you grow over the last, 35 years, and you have done a fantastic job, and I am so proud of you because also you accomplished one of my goals. My goal was to have a place where we could sell or that would make items for the residents to purchase, like shirts that said Sterling Heights. I love Sterling Heights with the big old heart on it, and jackets so that they can show their pride in their community. And you've accomplished that for us. So I say thank you. You made my goal, and congratulations. You have done such a fantastic job here in Sterling Heights, and we're very, very proud that you chose to build your business here. And I wish you another 50 more years. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Koski. Mr. Radke.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank your family for the 50 years of business in Sterling Heights. You know, you have literally lived the American dream. You create a small business that is now a larger business. I won't say it's a large business, but larger than when you started. And whenever I drive past your facility, I always look at it and say, wow, that started in Sterling Heights, is expanding in Sterling Heights, is hiring and promoting Sterling Heights wherever you go. And that makes me feel very good about our city, and you should feel very good about that. So thank you for your hard work. I think you'll be here for another 50 years. You're the preeminent T-shirt vendor everywhere I go, including at the Polish Festival, which I'm always proud to see you guys at. So thank you for your hard work and dedication, and congratulations. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Radke. Mr. Yanis.
Sure. It is, I think, rare these days that you have a family business that stays a family business for such a long time, and working together, and being such a great employer of local folks, and not selling out to some corporate giant that wants to buy your business, but keeping your roots here, I think is very symbolic of Sterling Heights itself. And so this is really, frankly, you're going to get an honor in regards to a piece of paper, but really it's your family and your business honoring the city of Sterling Heights for the investment that you've made into our city. And for that, I want to say thank you, offer my deepest and most sincerest thanks, because it's not everybody that does that nowadays. This is sort of old fashioned, and we need more of that. So congratulations on 50 years. I hope you have another 50 years and it stays a family business
Daniel.
for the next 50 years. Anyways, congratulations.
Well, there's not much I can add to that, so I'll just say congratulations to the Artemovich family. Like so many of my colleagues up here, Rich coached basketball for my son, and, I've had the opportunity to know Bob and Rich and the whole family now for many years, and you're just the model of what we want for a corporate citizen. It's a true family business. You've built something that we can all be very proud to have here in the city of Sterling Heights, and I will say, I didn't buy 70 million T-shirts, but I bought about 20, I think, at Sterling Fest this past July. So we're more than happy to support the cause. And I bought shirts when I was doing a campaign about 8 years ago that I have friends that still wear them, and they love those shirts. So you guys have created a real legacy here that we expect is going to go on for as long as the Artemovich family wants it to. And so we're blessed to have you, and thank you for being here. And like I said, congratulations. So council, with no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's give them all a big round of applause. And we do have a resolution that we'll present to the Artemovich family by Councilwoman Zarko, and we'll meet you up there in front of the podium for a picture, all right? Daniel, too.
Oh, can I get you this?
Daniel, come here. Come here. Here, okay,
Here, let's do this. Okay, then we need people on the other side.
Okay, Daniel?
Do you want to help me? Hold it.
You gonna anchor it,
No,
Mike?
no, don't, it's not, let's, just hold it there and read.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Dan.
Oh, how we've seen the city
And how many
change,
kids did
thank
they-
you know?
and I-
Mark.
There wasn't a home on Sterling and Shaner when we started this business.
Does
In the
anybody
first
want
post
the
office.
Yeah, maybe the.
Thank you so much. You were here, you've been here too, 50 years.
That's all right. No, I had that coming.
Okay.
All right, thank you again to the Artemovich family and for community relations help in making that presentation. The next item on our agenda tonight is an ordinance adoption, and this is to consider adoption of an ordinance amending Articles 26, 28, and 31 of the zoning ordinance number 278 to regulate the location and use of ground-mounted, roof-mounted, carport, and building integrated solar energy systems. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Sarowski.
Resolved to adopt the ordinance amending Articles 26, 28, and 31 of zoning ordinance number 278 to regulate the location and use of ground-mounted, roof-mounted, carport, and building integrated solar energy systems.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
Just extremely briefly, just to say I'm very happy that we are continuing to move forward, with, especially with solar power. After the summer, I could have probably funded or powered up the entire state of Michigan with the heat we had, so, and the sun that we had. So I am happy to support this, and everything else was been explained last 2 weeks ago. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Sarowski. Council, anyone else? No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is another ordinance adoption. This is to consider adoption of an ordinance amending Article 6 of Chapter 2 of the City Code to update and enhance the bidding requirements of contractors for public improvement projects. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to support or that would like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Yanez.
resolved to adopt the ordinance amending Article 6 of Chapter 2 of the City Code to update and enhance the bidding requirements of contractors for public improvement projects.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
I think we discussed it enough a couple weeks ago.
Council, any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up on our agenda is the consent agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on any item on tonight's consent agenda? Mr. Nelson.
Ken Nelson, Fire Steel Drive, Sterling Heights. I'd like to speak on item number I, with this small MEDC grant. I've seen an awful lot about Sterling Heights in the news with the MEDC. And I know there was a quick announcement a while back that you, Mr. Taylor, are now a member of the executive committee for the MEDC. And I know that the city is going to be searching for millions or tens of millions of dollars for Lakeside. And I just don't want it to see it go in the direction of Ms. Baydoun, who was also an executive member. And I was wondering if you would kind of take a minute sometime tonight and explain what exactly you do as an executive committee member of the MEDC. Because I have a feeling we're going to get a lot more going on with this particular issue. So it'd be really nice to let the residents of Sterling Heights know exactly how you earned that appointment. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nelson. Anyone else under the consent agenda? Mr. Smith.
Well, without mentioning any particular item of the items A through O on the consent agenda, I'd just like to comment that the city has achieved a new level of under the table and backroom government by not even projecting the items of the consent agenda on the screen. That I guess without discussing the individual items, now we're to the point that even the names of the items are hidden from the people. You're really outdoing yourself with this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Shea.
Good evening. Consent agenda G. I support that. It's nice to see the city of Sterling Heights and the 41st A District Court making an agreement with the Training Center LLC regarding a sobriety treatment and program for impaired drivers. It's nice to see that program in Sterling Heights and stuff, and it's going to help a lot of people and stuff between the court and the city, so thank you for that. And regarding consent agenda J, approve the contracts between the City of Sterling Heights and the Michigan Department of Transportation and DTE Energy Company, and a payment to the Consolidated Rail Corporation. You're going to establish a shared use path along Dober Drive from DeQuinder Road. Question I have for you, the city's total project cost is $1,200,000. I'd like to know what the total cost for the project is, and I want to know if you're establishing the path, did you have to buy easements, or were the easements already there? Or did you have to go into any litigation and trying to get a piece from DeQuinder all the way to Utica Road? Because you have to cross. I mean, there's sidewalks there. There's other property there. So if you could, I know you can't answer it now. If you can answer it later in the meeting, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shea. Anyone else on the consent agenda? If not, council, without objection, I don't intend on debating, but just a point of clarification. So I was appointed to the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Executive Committee by the governor. It's a governor's appointment, and she makes those decisions on her own. You'd have to ask her why she made it. I'm proud and thankful that she did appoint me to it. The MEDC Executive Committee has oversight over the MEDC's executive director and its budget and its operations. However, the MEDC Executive Committee does not make decisions regarding funding projects. The MEDC Executive Committee oversees the MEDC staff, which implements those projects, but it's a completely different board called the Michigan Strategic Fund, or MSF, that makes funding decisions. So that is a separate board. I have nothing to do with that board. So the MSF will make determinations for projects like Lakeside Mall, this project. Anytime the MEDC is spending money, it's allocated by the MSF. And that other one you were talking about was actually a legislative grant that was in the state's budget. And what the state of Michigan will do sometimes when the legislature allocates money for a special project, they will allocate the money and then they'll say to the MEDC, okay, now it's your responsibility to administer this, to make sure that the money is going to where it's supposed to go. So I don't have any oversight over how the MEDC spends its money or those funding issues. It's really more internal operations of the MEDC, setting the budget, making sure that all the departments are working properly. So I just wanted to make that clarification. Council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up on our agenda tonight is a consideration item, and this is to consider approval of a real estate sales agreement and AIA standard form of agreement between owner and design builder for property acquisition and development of a pickleball sports facility at 35630 Van Dyke. We do have a presentation from our Parks and Recreation Director, Kyle Langloy. Mr. Langloy.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Again, Mayor, members of council, and all gathered here this evening. My reason for being here, as you heard today, is to present on this item for your consideration, which is the acquisition of property and subsequent development of said property at 35630 Van Dyke for the purposes of an indoor pickleball and table tennis facility. Since we first announced the Pathway to Play and Preservation millage in June of 2024, I can honestly say that the most frequently asked question prior to the millage and since voter approval has been, do we know where the pickleball facility is going to be located? For quite some time, we truly did not know. For one, we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves without knowing if the millage was going to pass, but also we didn't know what properties might be on the market at that time. However, city administration started to hone in on property characteristics after the millage passed that would best suit the priorities as we presented at the 2025 strategic planning session in January. As a refresher, those priorities were, 1, finding a location away from the center of the city to spread out our major recreational assets. 2, finding a property that contained an existing building to further our sustainability efforts. And 3, finding a building that was large enough to fit all of the components we said we would deliver through the millage educational materials. Although the word has been out now since last Wednesday night, I for one am excited to no longer have to keep a secret on this proposed location and to have the item on the agenda tonight with hopes of advancing this cornerstone project forward, which will be the first of the high-profile projects and undoubtedly the most anticipated Parks and Recreation project since recreating recreation. Situated in the mixed-use development at the corner of Van Dyke and 15 Mile Roads, 35630 Van Dyke is the proposed location for your consideration this evening to be the home of this facility. Truly was the only building and piece of property on the market that met all the criteria that I listed before without compromising any of our priorities. First, it is in the southeast section of the city and will make a great complement to the outdoor pickleball courts that will be installed at Red Run Park. With Dodge Park centrally located, Delia Park at the northwest, the Community Garden and Nelson Park in the southwest, the northeast section would now be the only gap for having a cornerstone facility, which undoubtedly will be covered through the upcoming transformative work at Lakeside Mall. Second, the property houses an approximately 37,000 square foot building that has sat idle for quite some time and is primed for redevelopment and further rejuvenation of this corridor. Per the plan you will see shortly, 33,000 of those square feet are being renovated to accommodate the needs of the new facility, and the rest will remain open for solving critical storage needs. With 247 dedicated parking spaces and ample opportunities for overflow parking, this location is primed to manage the stated expected occupancy of over 315 patrons on a regular day, let alone any special events we may bring to this facility. And a bonus third and fourth point is the fact that the site has outstanding access off main roads and bus routes near a variety of dining and entertainment venues, while also containing approximately 1 acre of undeveloped green space at the north end of the property that we get to add to our park inventory. It's been no secret that pickleball has been one of the fastest growing sports now for many years in a row. And depending on the research, shows growth of anywhere from 220 to 310% over the last 3 years. Regardless of which study you subscribe to, these numbers are staggering, and the draw on our existing courts supports all of that data. Given this information, city administration has been working diligently to find a way to deliver this voter-approved space within budget, while also recognizing the ever-growing demand for courts and the need to bring this additional value to our residents in the shortest amount of time, which brings us to where we're at today. Before you this evening is a packaged set of agreements, including a purchase agreement for that property and building in the amount of $2.5 million, in the design build component in the amount of $7.2 million between the city, Marketplace C3 LLC, and industry-leading builder Cunningham Lim. If approved, these collective agreements will bring what used to be a long-term vision to reality before this time next year. Breaking it down a bit further, the purchase price works out to $68 per improved square foot compared to the going rate of others around the city that were $90 to $161 per square foot when we were comparing to what else was on the market at that time. From a renovation standpoint, the renovation is under $213 per square foot, which compares to the architect's opinion of cost from 2024 at $225 per square foot, and the solid value is corroborated by other design professionals that we have currently under contract for other projects unrelated around the city. For additional reference, the entire 3 parcels of property were marketed in April 2025 via the commercial real estate website LoopNet for just under $3 million. So what does this all mean? That upon execution of these agreements and closing on the real estate purchase, the city would take ownership of a fully renovated turnkey pickleball and table tennis facility for a guaranteed not to exceed amount of $9.7 million once the construction is completed. As you can see on the screen, although it's kind of small, once we add the $300,000 for furniture, appliances, and fixtures, which would be supplied by the city outside of this contract, this brings the final cost to the stated and planned $10 million. Equally exciting is the fact that a more traditional purchase and construction arrangement of this scope would easily take an additional 6 months or longer than is expected through this plan. So at the end of the day, our residents will be playing pickleball in a new facility in mid-26 as opposed to sometime in 27 upon council approval this evening. With design being part of the agreements, the backup documents highlight specifications for materials, but nothing has been locked in besides the expected quality level, which will be equal to or greater than those in the community center's material lists. In fact, to help with this piece, we would like to formally invite those interested to take part in a listening and feedback session on Tuesday, September 30th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at the community center to help make this truly the best facility for our pickleball and table tennis playing residents and visitors to enjoy. This was something that was requested in the millage and before the millage approval, and we are looking forward to honoring that request in just a few weeks. During that session, we will share the planned features of the building and accept comments on items and features that matter to our players. On the screen for your review right now is the final floor plan for the facility, which I would like to briefly go through those highlights. Just as a reminder, we can't create additional square footage here, so we're playing with the cards dealt on the building size and layout for you to consider tonight. First is the pickleball courts, which are shaded in blue, and as the main function of this facility, the plan will include 9 official-sized pickleball courts, representing one more than what was noted through the educational materials during the lead-up to the election in November of 2024. The table tennis area, here we go, following my arrow, is shaded in orange down there, and that as the secondary function, the facility will house 6 adequate-sized ping pong tables, well, official-sized ping pong tables with adequate boundary lines suitable for recreational to higher-level singles and double play. Gathering areas, which are shaded mostly in yellow and some in purple, include general seating areas and a cafe vending area. The facility would provide a variety of spaces for patrons to gather, converse, eat, and enjoy being in community with one another. Comfort, durability, and function, including charging ports and outlets, are at the top of the priority list. The meeting and party room, which is down on your lower right, shaded in purple, is a room that would host department, league, or tournament meetings, classroom sessions dedicated to learning the sports, or a room that can be rented alongside a pickleball court. In all, this space is sure to complement the day-to-day activities of this facility. Other support spaces shaded in gray and purple throughout the facility would include locker rooms, a nursing mother room, a meditation room, and storage areas, making this a unique facility unlike that of any other city building that will meet the needs of our diverse community and athletes. From an exterior perspective, the building would be refreshed with a new facade and entrance with a representative photo shown on the screen. Important to note is that this is not the final design of what the exterior would look like, but just shows imagery of how we would look to improve the design of the facility over its current state, which is shown on the right of the screen. All of this would be gone through as we go through the design build process that we are looking to approve today. The parking lot would also be resurfaced and striped. Landscaping aligned with city standards would be installed within the parking lot, at the entrance, and around the entire site in general. While the majority of people can probably start to visualize how the building will likely be used, I want to highlight what our initial uses of the facility will be. With our residents funding the build-out and operational costs for this facility, I am pleased to once again report that all drop-in pickleball and table tennis play will be at no cost to residents of Sterling Heights. Like our other millage-funded facilities of the community center, the splash pad, and ice rink, we will charge a reasonable per-day drop-in fee for any patron that does not reside in Sterling Heights. And while drop-in play is likely going to cover the majority of the activity at this new facility, residents can plan to see lessons, leagues, and local tournaments for a reasonable fee, which will also be discounted lower than a non-resident fee. Taking these additional opportunities even further, imagine partnering with the Special Olympics or the Senior Olympics organizations to welcome participants from across the state to participate in statewide tournaments that will undoubtedly bring positive economic impact to our city and the area. And for even more fun, how about businesses or residents being able to rent the meeting and party room alongside a pickleball court for a holiday get-together or team building event? In all, this facility will truly provide capacity and opportunities that are currently not available to our residents as I sit here today and speak with you. In closing, you can see that there has been a significant amount of work done to get us to where we are at today, but we would still have a ways to go. From seeking and hopefully gaining council approval tonight, to closing on the property, hosting the listening and feedback session later this month, finalizing designs, hiring staff, and formulating our final operating plan, the Parks and Recreation Department will be kicking it into an even higher gear to be prepared for a tentative planned grand opening in July of 2026 if council approves this tonight. I would like to thank our Assistant City Manager, Haley Bradley, our City Attorney team of Mark Koszubski and Arvin Zora, the design and construction team from Cunningham Limp, TMP Architecture, and the team from Marketplace C3 LLC, who have worked tirelessly on the agreements in every detail to ensure that this proposed acquisition be a successful venture for all parties involved. This truly is a unique arrangement that will not only expedite the construction process and our ability to provide a top-tier athletic facility to our residents, but also get the project completed within our budget allocation of $10 million as we represented through the millage process. With City Council approval tonight, we would be on our way to being the first municipally funded, dedicated indoor pickleball facility in Metro Detroit, and from what I can see, appears to be only the second in the state of Michigan behind the county of Jackson. When you add table tennis to the mix, I'm not sure that I can say that anyone in the state is doing it the way Sterling Heights is doing it. Myself, Arvin Zora from our City Attorney's Office, and Sam Ashley Jr. from Cunningham Limp will be happy to address any questions that council may have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Langlois. I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? Mr. Nelson.
This has been long, Ken Nelson, Firesteel Drive, Sterling Heights. I mean, this is no surprise that this building, when Mr. Gallo was in front of everybody getting approval for his apartments, which, by the way, that doesn't show the apartments that are going to be off to the right there. Got some questions on first of all, the drawing, the building. This is not what was sold to the people of Sterling Heights, the voters. They kind of expected, and you're going to tell me, well, we had to get something up there. But it looked like a brand-new building, glass from the bottom to the top with people in there playing pickleball. Misrepresentation of the whole thing. And I'm sure you have a way to explain that one away, Mr. Vanderpool. $2.5 million. There were problems, and this is one for you, Mr. Radke. I think all the parking that we just bought, and are we buying all of that parking, was part of a shared parking agreement within that complex. Did we buy this? I'd like to know. Did we buy all the parking? The people with these new apartments of Mr. Gallo, they'll just have to walk on over and have the capability of using up all the courts. It's wonderful. Great. Had to go somewhere, I know. $2.5 million. Not a bad price. So you got it for $500,000. What it came off of earlier estimates of what that property was worth. The whole thing, I'm not upset about anything to do with having pickleball, although I think private industry should have taken that over. And I think I still want to know about that one company that was supposed to be moving on, I think it was Mound Road, and putting in all of the sports. And I don't know if they ever went through with that or what, but is the city responsible for providing everybody's recreation? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nelson. Mr. Smith?
Well, Paul Smith, I'm speaking for the record. I'm not speaking to city council because since Mayor Noddy passed away, city council has never once listened and taken into account what people said. I don't think you can come up with a single amendment to any piece of business that Mr. Vanderpool wants as a result of citizen input. So we're just speaking for the record. This PPP was a Trojan horse, a big package that was sold with one selling point, free sidewalk repairs. We're going to fix your sidewalks without charging the homeowner. The rest of it was just frosting and enhancement. I think what you sold here was a 5 or 10 mil goodie bag with a 1 mil price tag, and it's like President Roosevelt and a lot of the other Lyndon Johnson with their big giveaway programs. They promised a lot of things, and they gave a small portion of what they promised, and this is another case of this. This project isn't about pickleball. Pickleball is just a rationalization for a money pipe to a crony property owner and developer in Sterling Heights that has a piece of junk property that he wants to get off his books at a premium price. Just like that $640,000 swampland you bought on Northern Van Dyke and turned around and sold it to another crony for 60 grand. That's the same thing we're doing here. That there hasn't been any citywide search. So see, for all of this, you're going to get 9 pickleball courts so that 36 people can play pickleball at any one time. I was thinking, well, we got 135,000 people. Everybody uses the sidewalks and the streets. I think they expect them to get fixed. It's not 10%. It's not 13,000. I was thinking, oh, 1%, 1,350, but 36 people at a time playing pickleball. If you fill it 10 times a day, what, 640 people? You're spending one heck of a lot of this package on a tiny amount of people. And we haven't even paid for this massive rec center that's been built that's got pickleball in it already anyway. I guess who said pickleball has to be a year-round sport? That boating and hunting, skiing, baseball, they're not year-round sports. You don't have to play every sport year-round inside a building. I sort of doubt that in the middle of summer when the weather's nice, who the hell wants to go inside a barn and play pickleball on a hot sunny day? That doesn't seem right at all. We got an abundance of unused and underused basketball and tennis courts, the rec center. This isn't really needed. I guess, again, the only need is for the owner of this property to get it off his books at a good price. And that's what you're doing for him here. You're really putting the cart before the horse and jumping to conclusions and going half-cocked on this. That this millage, depending on what you say the tax base is now, this is going to bring in, what, 6, 7, 8 million a year. You're using more than $1 million of the taxation on a pickleball barn so 36 people can play pickleball. This is a fad sport like zip lining and the Vita course and Frisbee golf and a lot of other things. That this exponential rise, yeah, they have an exponential rise for a couple years till the good players come in and knock out the amateurs, and then it goes the way of racquetball and a lot of others.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Shea?
Good evening. Sterling Heights. First off, I know this is voter approved. I voted against the millage. I feel this is a waste of time, waste of money, waste of time. This pickleball court should have been done by the private sector. And I personally don't like the location. It should have been more central. I see you didn't want the city center complex. I wonder if you guys looked at the former Lifetime Fitness building at 16 at Van Dyke. I don't know how big that building was, or an industrial building, because some communities they built things in industrial areas or vacant industrial buildings. And some communities, they've worked with some of their partners, and they were donated buildings, a partnership and everything. And all they had to do was name the building after them or do something. Are you going to have a naming rights for this? I'm just curious. And I want to know, you're spending $10 million, but what is going to be the full operation cost of running this building on a yearly basis? And you probably are not going to be able to, you're going to probably have to estimate that. And how many employees are you going to need? How much is the park and rec budget going to go up? Not just with this, but with everything else you have planned. This should have been done with the private sector. People voted it, they got it. Hopefully you're going to manage this properly. And how many other pickleball courts are you going to build on the outside? I heard him say Red One. How many are going to be built there, and who's going to manage that? Is that going to just be run by Parks and Rec too? So thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shea. Anyone else on this item? Not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Zarko.
Okay, do you want me to do them separately or all at the same time?
You can do all three at once if you'd like.
All three at once? Number one, resolve to, number one, approve the real estate sales agreement between the City of Sterling Heights and Marketplace C3 LLC for real property commonly known as 35630 Van Dyke. Number two, approve an AIA standard form of agreement between the owner and design builder between the City of Sterling Heights and Cunningham Limp Development Company. And number three, authorize the city manager to sign the agreements and all closing documents on behalf of the city.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Mrs. Zarko.
I'd like to wait if it's okay with you, Mayor Taylor.
Okay. Council, anyone else?
I'll jump in, Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you very much. So, through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, where did we get the idea to do a pickleball courts? Where did that come from?
Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sarowski. As Mr. Langlois mentioned earlier, this has been in a high demand, a recreational opportunity for a long time. And the community engagement that we heard going through Visioning 2040 and the like pointed to additional pickleball facilities. Mr. Langlois would have the numbers, but it's far more than 36. It's hundreds, thousands that play pickleball. You only have to go by the community center to see what the limited courts are doing there, not to mention the outdoor courts, not to mention all the data we see all across the country in communities. So there's no dispute. It's in high demand. It's been in high demand for decades. This isn't something new. It's not a fad. It's obviously going to keep going. So the demand is pretty easy to identify, but if I've missed something, Mr. Langlois could expound some.
Thank you. And I also have another question for you through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, maybe, or maybe Mr. Langlois. Since we are buying and renovating an existing building at this cost, what would, in the cost, let's say, everything, close the door, sign the agreement, 10 million, what would it cost to have a new build? In the same capacity, the same size, the same everything? 36,000 square feet. 37,000.
Mayor Pro Tem Sarowski, I'll ask Mr. Langlois to respond because he's done some of the comp work and also our budget and finance directors here as well. Needless to say, we're saving millions of dollars through this process, but I'll let him expand on that some.
Mr. Langley.
Thank you. Need to get a calculator out for that one, sorry. But, you know, renovation projects are, you know, estimated industry-wide to be, you know, $225 a square foot, plus or minus. New build, when you're talking about, you know, taking a vacant plot of land and preparing the land, erecting the walls and doing everything from scratch, you're into the $325 range, certainly over $300. So if I get my calculator, I will just use 300 as a example, times 37,000 square feet. That's $11 million just to build a building, not including what you pay to, you know, purchase the land that it would go on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically, we would be looking at a downsize, a much smaller facility, probably around 23,000 square feet. We'd get that, which would mean less courts in that building.
Great, well, thank you. And just to also discuss the 36 people can play at a time for a game, but those games go for, you know, they play and they play and they play and they play multiple hours. So that's, you know, that's not quite doing math correctly. So I just want to be clear on that. I just have to say that I have heard since I've been on city council, when are we going to start building more pickleballs? It's been 10 years. It's even before we had pickleball, and it was a thing. Just like any sport, the interest grows and wanes. That's just sports. That's how things are. But it doesn't mean it's gone. It doesn't mean it isn't necessarily used. I know that right now and throughout the entire nation, so this is not unique to Sterling Heights, pickleball is enormous. It is a professional sport now. They have tournaments. They've had them on ESPN. So it is something that we are not just coming up with and throwing it out there and trying to give this builder, you know, buy his building and save him from destruction. This is all about trying to get, one, the best bang for our buck. I am living in my home and I'm adding on. I'm not moving up to a mini mansion or anything else. I like where I live. It is much more of a use of my resources to renovate my home and to improve it than to build new or to buy new. And I'm very happy that that's also the philosophy of the city. So I don't see any reason why we would want to try to build something new. All of our educational material, that what we would like to provide with the funds, if the residents voted for the PPP, and there were disclaimers on all of them that said, this is a rendition, this is an idea, this is what we could do. Nothing ever said, I'm going to make sure that you have that tall windows and everything. There was never anything like that. So another misinformation. So I know that I have neighbors that play pickleball, family that plays pickleball. My husband thinks he's going to be professional. Okay, whatever. But I know that Mr. Mayor Taylor's parents are extremely avid players. But this isn't about us and our families. This is about what we heard in Visioning 2030, asking what we needed, what the residents wanted us to do. So this is trying to provide what the residents asked for. We didn't just put it in, raise your taxes, we let the residents decide. Majority rules in every single election, so, that'll make my day happier. So, that's how elections go. And that's part of the democracy. We accept who's in office, what's been voted for by the majority. Beautiful concept. So I don't rail against the windmills when something doesn't go my way. So it doesn't help anyway. Ping pong, I love that addition, Mr. Langlois. Thank you. People that like pickleball will also play ping pong in their off hours when they're not playing. Just really encourages it. I do have a question through the chair to Mr. Langlois. So my big aha moment when you were saying that we have offices is that we will have, like Macomb Township's rec center, that you can rent a room and play basketball. That's what my kids did. We did that for years because we didn't have it here in Sterling Heights. But we can do that as well for birthday parties or a family party or family get-together, correct, Mr. Langlois? Through the chair to Mr.
Mr.
Langlois.
Langley.
Yes, that is correct. Providing just a different way for people to utilize the facility. Certainly drop-in is going to be the major component of this, but can't tell you how many times people ask us in the community center if they can rent a room and a gym space.
And we don't have that option there.
Pretty infrequent.
Very infrequent.
Yes.
But this would be an option consistently? Yes. Okay, I think that's a great idea. And then, so glad that the drop-in play has no cost to city residents, but what is that, the non-resident fee, through the chair to Mr. Langlois, what is that about? Do you have an idea of how that's going to be?
Yeah, we would expect it would mirror that of our other facilities, which is currently $5 per day per non-resident that would walk through the door to participate, so.
That's fantastic, so thank you. The reason I ask that, and not that I want our facility not to be used by our residents, but if you have, like me, I have a girlfriend that lives in Shelby, and I want her to come play with me, I can't, it's good that I can bring her along for that nominal fee. So I think that that's an option, and it's a good option to have. Looking forward to it being opened up on 2026. I have somebody who may or may not be living with me that asks me every day, when are we getting this pickleball facility? So I'm glad that we have a date. And I encourage the residents, if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you have something that you would like, or even if you don't like it and you want to see something done differently, Tuesday the 30th, please come. I will be there. I'm sure other council members will be there, and we're happy to listen. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Sarowski. Council, anyone else? Mrs. Koski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pickleball was something totally new to me because I'd never played pickleball. I had absolutely no idea what it was. So I had to do some reading. And what I read was pickleball has been around for the last 50 years. And it is played by 20 and 30-year-olds. Well, apparently, in the last couple of years, those 20 and 30-year-olds have maybe aged a little bit and are remembering the good times that they had. So now they want to go back and be the maybe 50 and 60-year-olds playing pickleball. I think that's great because we want to keep our seniors active and also our younger group. I just want to confirm a couple things. So through the chair to Mr. Langlois, you're going to run this just like you do the rec center and senior center. You're going to have time limits as far as play is concerned. You will have your two prices for your residents and non-residents. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mr. Langlois.
Yes, you are correct. So we've been operating the community center now for 5 years and the senior center for since 2007, when we first brought pickleball into the city of Sterling Heights, and feel like we have a pretty solid plan for how to navigate the operation on a day-to-day basis, and we want to kind of bring that forward to this facility. No different than everything. We find ways to make sure more and more people have an opportunity to play. If the facility is jammed with people, there's been times where we've had to cut off people walking through the doors to play a specific activity like pickleball to limit so that people do have the opportunity to play. We will make rally scoring a requirement if there's a lot of people there, and those are things that will, continue to monitor each and every day with the staffing that's there to help provide the best playing experience. In addition, there's plans to have technology in place instead of using the whiteboards that we use now to decide who's up next and trying to figure out where they're at in the building. Utilizing technology and electronic features that people will be able to see no matter where they're in the building to see that they're up next so we can expedite play faster. So our goal is going to be more courts, more people playing, getting people on the courts and off the courts and ready to get up for the next game as quickly as we can.
And this will be totally controlled by our staff, correct?
That is correct.
Do we have any other pickleball facilities, indoor, outdoor?
In
Sterling Heights?
municipally owned, yes. We have currently 10 pickleball courts outside in parks spread throughout the city. We have no dedicated indoor pickleball facility. We do play pickleball currently at the community center and the senior center, but that shares time with volleyball, basketball, badminton at times, our indoor adventures, a number of any other programs, baton classes, so nothing dedicated within the city.
You're calling this an athletic center, so in the event that pickleball kind of drops off for a while, you'll be able to use this for other activities, is that correct?
So we're calling it an athletic center because, quite frankly, we have not come up with a name yet for the facility. So it truly is a facility that will house athletics, so we've identified it as an athletic center. It's going to be designed and built to be a dedicated pickleball and table tennis facility. No different than any other facility we have. If there's a point in time where, you know, collectively, city council and city administration believe that we should take it in another direction, probably post this first millage expiration period of 15 years, I believe that would be within the prerogative of everybody involved to figure out what the most important next move would be for the facility. But as it stands for 15 years, as part of the millage, it would be a dedicated pickleball and table tennis facility.
And I have to assume that you have built-in maintenance and staffing of this facility for a long, long time?
We have a pro forma that's created. We're working administratively with Budget and Finance Department to bring that to the table, knowing now what our timeline is for this facility. We have to start having some pretty serious conversations about that. But again, understanding how we've operated the community center and mirroring the operation of this facility off that, we have a great idea of what it's going to cost to run this facility in terms of cost and how many resources we're going to need.
One last question, and this is just to make sure that I understand the transaction. We have the owner of the center who is in turn selling the property to the architect, can I call him the architect, that is going to actually build the facility, and then that person is going to turn around and sell it to the city of Sterling Heights, turnkey operation, correct?
Close. So it's a simultaneous closing. At the time of closing, we're ultimately purchasing the property with the agreement that Marketplace C3 LLC, which will be held by Cunningham Limb, will be constructing the pickleball facility and turning that over to us at the end of construction. So through the process, we would be making progress payments based on their progress of construction to make sure that we are getting the facility that we agreed to purchase from them at the time of closing.
Okay, that leads me to my last question. The original owner is withholding votes. Now, I'm not versed in marketplace, what do we want to call them, centers, the commercial centers with a lot of shops and so on, and I know that they have their restrictions. You're going to have to help me out here. But he's withholding certain voting rights. And I have to assume that that applies to who can come into the center, what businesses, for the protection of the current tenants. Am I on the right track or am I wrong?
You are on the right track, yes. So the goal for this arrangement is to be mutually beneficial to everybody involved. So the city certainly is interested in this building and this real estate and to be able to provide a pickleball facility. What happens in the out kind of lot areas is something that doesn't impact us that much. We want to make sure that those businesses that are thriving in the area continue to thrive, and protecting their interests is exactly what the, I guess the current owner of the Marketplace C3 LLC is interested in protecting the rights, which we would support. We would support that, quite frankly. So we want to make sure that the area thrives alongside this facility that we know is going to thrive as well.
So with that said, I have to assume that you are in full favor of this project and we get your endorsement?
I can tell you that if there was a sticking point through this transaction, it would not be before you this evening for your consideration.
Thank you very much. That's all.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Koski. Anyone else?
Mayor Taylor?
Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. First and foremost, this was a voter-approved millage. This was included in all of the presentations associated with that millage. And it fills an empty building that has been empty for a very long time, like probably close to 20 years. It's been empty, with the exception of a Halloween store once in a while. But we bought our pool there, and it was about 20 years ago, and that was probably the last thing that was there. That makes me happy. I know we brought it up at strategic planning about let's try and find an empty building. An empty building that size is hard to find, but an empty piece of property that we would need is probably harder to find. So I'm glad to be, reusing a current empty building. I do have, however, some questions. Some of my questions were answered. In the rendering, in the blueprint, it showed a pro shop and a cafe. Is that going to be vendors running the pro shop and the cafe, or is the city running that?
So the initial plans, I'll start with the cafe, is to utilize a concept of similar to what you might see in a hospital setting where it's kind of a self-serve type vending area, a little more, I don't want to say upscale, but a little more robust than what we would have in our traditional vending machine. So opportunities for sandwiches, coffee machines, things of that nature where people would be a filmed area that you would be responsible for as you take something out of the shelf or off the shelf, you'd be responsible for paying for it and kind of walking away. So our current vending company certainly provides that option. And that would be the way I would prefer to go instead of operating a concession stand or working through an arrangement with a concessionaire to provide that service. I think as we, continue to see how the facility grows and gets used, that might be something we would revisit down the way. But initially, I think that's the more appropriate way, in my opinion, to utilize that space. In terms of the pro shop, every day we get people who we provide orange pickleballs and they would like to use green pickleballs or a blue pickleball, or paddle might break and would be looking for an opportunity to quickly get their hands on a pickleball paddle that they can continue to play. So our goal would be to have a very small amount of those types of products that we would sell utilizing our staff as a point of sale type of a product, no different than, no different than the locks that we sell at the community center for somebody looking to purchase a lock to lock up a locker. So similar, very small. We don't want to do a whole pro shop with footwear and other things, but the basics, whether it's tape for the paddle handle or a paddle or a pickleball, something that we would like to offer to the residents and visitors to this facility.
And is that also where they'll check in?
That is correct.
Okay. You also mentioned a mom's nursing room. So does that mean we're going to have childcare there, or is it strictly for moms to relieve their uncomfortable situation?
Yeah, we're not planning childcare, but we will have spectators that might be in the building watching a tournament or a league or an activity that's going on. We might have nursing mothers that might be there for the holiday party or the family gathering and need a place to take part in that activity. And so wanted to provide a space that's something that we lack in the community center. It's something that's been brought up before, but want to make sure there's opportunities for them to do that. Or you might have a nursing mother who doesn't have their child with them, but has to pump on a schedule. And so providing you know, a dignified space and a private space to be able to do that is important.
I can appreciate that, and I know I've been seeing pods in airports and everywhere else, and I think it's a great idea. It's a great accommodation, really. Let's see, the time limits you answered. So what is the time, what would average time limit be? If there are people waiting, how much, I want to learn how to play pickleball. I don't know anything about it. So how much time does an average game take?
That is a wonderful question, and I'll be honest, I don't have an answer for that.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
you know, I think it depends on how serious the players are playing. You know, if you're there for a casual game of pickleball and are there for socialization, you might be a little slower getting to the ball that goes out of play. But if you're there to really run through games, you're going to play pretty quickly. And it could be depending on who's the better team. If they're two evenly matched teams, you might be looking at 20 to 30 minutes for a game. If there's two teams that are really not comparable in terms of their skill level, it might take 10 minutes for a team to blast through the other team, you know, with quick scoring and rally scoring. So it really just depends on what people are interested in, the pace that they're interested in playing at. So.
Okay, and you had mentioned tournaments. Are you also maybe considering ping pong tournaments? Ping pong, by the way, is a pretty big sport in itself. I know people are really crazy, good ping pong players, so I've heard of tournaments as well. So is that a thought?
Absolutely, yeah. We focus a lot on pickleball with this because that's, you know, kind of dominating the conversation through this whole process. But we have a thriving table tennis contingency over at the senior center, as well as other players throughout the city that would probably enjoy playing if they had a space they can go to. Currently, if they're under 50, they can't go to the senior center to play, so this would provide an opportunity for more of our residents to be able to participate in that activity. And I think having the space, you know, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. And we're going to see that, and we're going to use that facility to the greatest extent possible, whether it's tournaments, whether it's drop-in play, whether it's league play. We want to make sure that people are getting the opportunity to, again, recreate in the way they want to recreate. Some people are serious and want tournaments. Some people just want to come hang out and knock the ball around. And this facility will be able to accommodate both. And we will plan with our staff that'll be put into place to accommodate and facilitate all of those activities.
Okay, and in our backup, it was mentioned putting in EV charging stations. Can you tell me how many are planned?
Yes, the current plan, I believe, calls for four charging stations. I expect we would do no different than we did at the community center, is also planned for future growth. Community center, we put in 2 charging ports, but we had infrastructure put in to add an additional 2 right off the bat. So we would look to do that as well and see how the demand continues to grow for electronic vehicles.
And there is, of course, a fee charged when, you know, you're charging your car, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would take the same model as the newest charging stations that we're putting in around the city, you know, with our agreement with GM and DTE, where there would be a reasonable fee to charge vehicles alongside. It would not be a free charging station.
Right. And is there any way, probably not, but is there any way we can limit who uses those charging stations? Like, it's for our facility. So I don't necessarily think it's fair if people at our facility need to use a charging station and it's not available because people from the apartments or people from the show or from the GM building next door are using the charging stations.
Something I definitely would have to, you know, we'd have to look into further as to how we would navigate that, and if that's the prerogative of, you know, council to do that. Certainly something, there's ways to password protect. You know, I'm not saying that that's part of the pro forma and plan, but there are ways to password protect, whether it's requiring somebody to come into the facility and get a password, you know, to go out and charge. Everything can be on the table.
Okay. And I guess my last question is, what happens if there's price overages? I mean, we've been told that when this is all done, this is what our bill's gonna be. So if there's price overages, the company is gonna absorb them, or?
If allowed, I'd love to call Sam Ashley from Cunningham Limp to the microphone and allow him to address that a little bit more.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sam Ashley, the president of Cunningham Limp. We're the design builder. The form of agreement is referred to as a guaranteed maximum price agreement. So what that means is whatever that set number is, we're taking the risk for any overages to it. The way the contract was negotiated, in the event there are savings or dollars that aren't spent, all of those dollars go back to the city.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate you clarifying that for me. And like I said, you know, a lot of people didn't vote at all on this millage, and a lot of people voted no on this millage. But the majority of the people that voted on it, it was approved. So I have to respect that vote. I don't fault anyone for the way they voted on it, but we have to respect the outcome of the vote. So with that, Mayor, I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Yanis?
Yeah, I'll take my shot. So this really has, for me, nothing to do with the pickleball court. Everybody's absolutely right, you know. Democracy rules. More people voted for the PPP than voted against it. But this is really about the lack of transparency, and it's a horrible lack of transparency. I mean, poor Mr. Langlois over here doing acrobatics, trying to keep the name Tony Gallo out of his mouth. You know, if you just do a quick Google search for Marketplace C3 LLC, it'll tell you it's established at 6303 26 Mile Road, Washington Township, and the registered agent is Tony Gallo. If you recall, when Mr. Gallo was here last year, wanting to build his apartment complex, this was, you know, phase one or, you know, part of the property, and we talked about the shared parking and all this stuff, and he didn't know what he was gonna do with this property. And, you know, I just think it would be so much better. First of all, the taxpayers deserve transparency, but this would be so much better if Mr. Gallo had come here and said, hey, I got this idea, I got this building, you know, you want to build a pickleball court, let's work together. That would have been great. But this whole idea that Mr. Gallo no longer exists, Marketplace C3 LLC is who exists, right? So I don't know who we're trying to fool here about this, about the process, through the chair to the city attorney. Were you or someone from your office the people who negotiated this agreement?
Mr. Koszewski?
We were part of the team that negotiated this agreement, yes.
Okay, and can you tell me when those negotiations started?
Months ago.
Months ago. Okay, thank you, Mr. Koszewski, I appreciate that. This has been on the schedule since day one. It's not some happenstance that took place. We knew this was coming. There was concern about, you know, Mr. Gallo being tied in, and nothing against Mr. Gallo. Like I said, I would have preferred that he'd stand right here and in front of us and offer this to us. It's just another example of how the city operates. It's frustrating. Personally, I'm embarrassed to tell the taxpayers that this is how things are being done here. You know, Mr. Langlois, how you doing, sir?
Good.
Through the chair to Mr. Langlois. Do you know how much, just off the top of your head, how much it costs to operate the community center on a monthly basis? I mean, you've been doing it for a while now. You must see the bills.
I do not have that,
Okay.
you know,
All right.
number off the top.
But you do have somewhat of a ballpark idea how much this is going to cost to operate this thing, right? Can you throw a number at us? Just no ballpark number. But, and the money that's used to pay staff, utilities, the equipment for the pro shop, does that money come out of PPP funds or out of general fund, out of your budget?
As has been the case with the community center, splash pad ice rink, anything that was funded by way of millage gets paid out of that same fund.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you, sir. We've been, we just passed this responsible contracting, the first opportunity we get to actually put it to use, we get this deal where it's all turnkey, it's all done, and Cunningham Limp is going, I'm assuming Cunningham Limp is going to be the general contractor and hire all the subcontractors? That's an assumption. I don't, do you want to address that, sir?
It's in the packet.
It's in the packet? Yeah, okay, well, I still want him to address it.
Cunningham Limp is the design builder, so as doing the case, we will hold the design contract. We will go out to bid for all subcontracts. We don't self-perform any work, and those will be solicited and then shared with the city or those results.
Okay, and so you'll have someone on site as the general contractor, right? You'll have
We will
construction
have
management, or you're gonna hire?
on-site supervision that are full-time employees of our company that are on-site, superintendents, project managers, project engineers.
Okay, and then do you have your own set of subcontractors, or do you go out for bid? I mean, you're locked into 9.7 million, so.
We go out to bid.
So you're gonna bid real tight. You're gonna make sure you're not, keep it within the 9.7 million, right?
Yeah, that's our risk if it goes over.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time. Just one quick correction to my colleague. Any of the marketing materials for PPP had zero disclaimers on any of the marketing materials for any of the PPP projects. And I've saved them all. If anybody wants to see them, you'll never find any disclaimers on them. Again, we've been a city for 57 years, and the fact that we can't wait 6 more months to go through the regular process and do this, and yeah, I know it would cost more, but we have 15 years, $92 million, a dedicated revenue stream. Maybe we could have gone and just done this a little more above board, where people knew who was bidding and how much was being bid and so on and so forth. I hope everybody enjoys the pickleball court. I may even try playing myself. Heck, I voted against this, but maybe I'll be there every single day, trying not to hurt myself playing pickleball. But the process is the problem. The process. This was Mr. Gallo, had an empty building, wanted to get it off his hands. The city was looking for a spot to build this. This is great. But the fact that we're trying to hide it under this LLC and then we're not going out to bid and all this. Let me just check, see if I have any more. No, that's it. I mean, lack of transparency. Enjoy your pickleball. I'm going to vote no. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yanez. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Radke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So that got off to a weird thing there. Couple things. Mr. Smith went home, but, we want to answer his questions. He always does that. He speaks, then he leaves without any expectation of a response, I guess. But to this project, I'm going to be supportive of it. I'm not a fan of the process. I'm a fan of the price point. It is cheaper than anything that I think we can find. Our independent architects say so. Cunningham Limp says so. Everyone who's consulted on this project has said that this is a better deal than building from the ground up and is a better deal than comparative sites. Now, I'm no fan of Mr. Gallo. Everyone at home knows that. I'm not a huge fan. But I can see the advantages of this site. So, it's one of those things that don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. We're going to save something to the tune of, I believe, about $2 million going through this process. And that's money that we can invest in all the other parts of PPP that are essential to the project. So all that being said, I have a few questions about this, but I'll start with this. One of the most frequent questions I receive as a council person, especially when I'm at the community center or in the park, is when are we going to announce the pickleball facility? This is a high priority for the people who play pickleball. And Mr. Smith isn't here, but I'll answer his question. And when you play basketball, only 10 guys can play on a court at once. You know, I don't know what the number of pickleball players has to do with anything. As if that somehow, should we just not have basketball courts because only 10 people can play on them at a time? The whole idea is farcical. So that's nonsense. But to go with this, you know, there was some talk online about us not getting the best price for this facility. So I was hoping you could clarify this, Mr. Langley, because some people online said, well, it was listed at $1.9 million. So through the chair to Mr. Langley, why are we paying 2.5 if it was, I'm using air quotes here, listed for 1.9?
Mr. Langley.
Yeah, thank you. So originally, the owner of the property, Mr. Gallo, was only interested in selling off one parcel of the property. There's 3 parcels included in this arrangement. And so what was listed was only one parcel, about 2.17 acres, I believe, was what that was listed at for 1.95 million, I believe was the price. When we were looking at the site, as well as looking at other sites, we recognized that that wasn't enough for us. It wasn't going to be enough parking to support the number of courts that would be in this building. And so we had to move the conversation to requiring all 3 parcels. We also really like the green space at the north end of the property. So all in all, instead of 2.17 acres for 1.95 million, we're 4.67 acres for 2.5 million. So $550,000 increase for the appropriate sized parking lot and some green space.
No, I appreciate that. And with parcel 1, which is the parcel directly north of the property, the green space parcel, do we have any intention or plan to program that parcel at this point? Or are we just acquiring it for a possible future use, maybe a playground in the future or something?
Yeah, no real plan right now. I think it's, you know, green space that we can preserve. We can plant some trees. It's right along Brome Drive. We could put some picnic tables out there in the future just for people to come from the neighborhood to sit and picnic, or folks that might be utilizing the pickleball complex that want to sit outside on a nice day and enjoy the weather. No plans for specifically anything much more than that at this point. But again, as we get through our Parks and Recreation Master Plan, which is coming up, having this acre of property to work with, we can see if that changes.
I appreciate that. I'm also concerned about how people are going to be able to access the site. So the driveway that currently exists to the north, would that be employee only, or we're gonna close that driveway? Because the signage is on 3 other drives that are nearby, but not that first northern driveway. If you wanna put a picture up the site, if the people at home wanna see it, I'm sure they can do it. It's in our packet.
We got it up here, so I know it's a little small. Let's see if I can, I don't know if
There you go.
this helps the cause at all. So I believe what you're speaking of is this, I don't know, can't see it on the screen.
Northwest corner of the property.
Yep, so what you'll see, there's 3 dots that show kind of where we would plan to put signage for people whether they're coming off of Brome Drive, Van Dyke, or 15 Mile Road. So those would be the major entrances that would actually get people into the site and be able to park at the location and come in the front doors. Really, if they come in off the access drive that's just to the east of the northwest dot there, they really would come to a dead end at the back side of the building. So depending on how we ultimately design and improve that section of the building, it may be employee parking. It may just be a delivery entrance, staff entrance to get to our storage spaces at the back of the building. So that would remain to be determined. If that's the case, we would probably add a more rudimentary sign there that would just identify it as staff parking or delivery loading entrance exit.
Excellent. And then how are we going to make sidewalk connections to the rest of the sidewalk here? Or how are people who are not going to be driving cars going to access the site?
Excellent question. I don't believe that we've really contemplated anything outside of what is on the parcels that we are looking to purchase. So coming in from Brome, could we make that connection? I believe that would be something that we can do and probably should consider through the design process. In terms of walkability from 15 Mile or Van Dyke Avenue, that's something that we've not contemplated to this point.
The reason I bring it up is this is, I want to say, one of the original mixed-use parcels that had been contemplated by the city. But the city didn't require any interior passageways to link the parcels together. So maybe we should get with the owner altogether and come up with a coherent strategy to how to access the interior parcels. Because there's no real sidewalk connection to the MJR cinemas. There's no sidewalk connections between the businesses up front and the ones in the back. And there's no sidewalk behind the original Holiday Inn that was put in there, so people are pushed into the street when they're walking. So I think that if we're going to make this a true mixed-use parcel, and it looks like we are with housing, theater, businesses, a credit union, hotels, there needs to be some kind of way to connect them all together so people can traverse the site safely. Because I think it's a lot to ask, especially if you want to open pickleball, not just for seniors who drive cars, but for kids and for the community that's nearby, to have connections to the site so that they can easily access the site. So I think that needs to be part of how we're thinking about it. I understand Cunningham Limp is doing the interior of the building, but let's think about some of the exterior so that we can connect the building to the community and not make it a walled fortress all its own. The other thing I want to talk about was briefly, people had said previously who left about the gym being, the community center gym is a place they play pickleball. This is going to be actual regulation courts. Gym floor is not considered a really good pickleball court, is it? This is just something we do to kind of make space, but it's not considered to be a quality court. Am I wrong, Mr. Langway?
You are correct. In a traditional parks and recreation facility like the community center, it is a multi-purpose facility. And we put in a very nice sprung, gym floor, but that is not what pickleball players, would traditionally play on. So ball does not bounce the way a true pickleball court should play. And conversely, there's facilities out there that have very low-end multi-purpose tile, flooring as well, which is not good either. So with this being a dedicated facility, not a multi-purpose facility, and when I say that, each court will be specific to the activity that is meant to be played on it. The flooring choice and the surface choice will be specific to that activity.
Okay. I'm going to vote in favor of this. Again, I'm not a fan of Mr. Gallo, but I think it gives us the most bang for our buck, and we'll get this project off the ground the fastest. So I am in favor. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Mrs. Zarko.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. I was first introduced to pickleball in 2008, and it was in Florida. And as snowbirds came north, they were the ones that made it more popular because they were playing it there and they wanted to play it up here. And then it actually went to younger people that wanted to learn it as well. So it's not just for seniors anymore. And so that was one of the things. It's very popular. But there are other park amenities that we have that I am never going to use. But other people are. I'm never going to use the skate park, and yet it's busy all the time. I use the trails. I use the indoor walking tracks. I attend, I go to use the exercise classes that we offer. But some of the other things, I'm not going to play basketball, and it's been a long time since I played volleyball, so I'm not planning on picking those up either. But it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to enjoy the sport that they want to play. So I can't base this just on my personal feelings about my own activity. And as people, as we actively age, we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to stay young and to do things rather than sit home and watch TV. So this is a great opportunity, I think, for us to take advantage of with an existing building that could be renovated. The cost is right. It's voter approved. Whether you voted for it or not, it's voter approved. At no time during the process did I feel that we weren't providing enough information to the residents to know what they were voting for. So, and even when they asked questions, people would say, I'm really not sure how I'm going to vote for this, but I know if I vote for it, and I might be paying a few extra dollars a year for this amenity, but in the end, when I go to sell my house, those hundreds of dollars turn into thousands of dollars because people see what the community has to offer. So to me, it was investing in our park system and investing in this building brings benefits to us later on, as far as people wanting to come and live here. And with housing inventory as short as it is, then the price of your houses are going up as well, which is a disadvantage for a new home buyer, but it's the reality of what happens. And just like Mrs. Rowski said, I'm not going anywhere either. I'm staying in Sterling Heights. I'm going to fix my house up, and why would I want to leave? So I'm in favor of this. It's a great opportunity for us to use an existing empty building that it was F&M's more than 40 years ago and hasn't had a permanent residence since, I think, except maybe the swimming pool place. So it's been a long time coming. And not only that, it doesn't affect what I think it's going to be a benefit to the people that live in those apartments that they can just come over and recreate. And it doesn't affect the GM virtual showroom at all. So this was supposed to be our first sustainable neighborhood, and it was in, I was going to say the mid-2000s, because it was during the economic downturn that everything changed. I mean, when I look at this, the apartments that are on 15 Mile were actually supposed to be condos. So, I mean, those were plans that were in place. And this truly is a place where you can live, work, and recreate. So I'm in favor of this. I think it's a benefit for all of us. If we don't see it now, we'll see it later. So I'll be voting yes.
Okay.
Nothing further.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Zarko. Mr. Langlois, so I want to just kind of walk through the process because a lot has been made of it today. So the Pathways Millage passed in November of 2024, and the city provided informational materials regarding what folks could expect if this passed, and was a dedicated pickleball facility part of the marketing or some of the informational materials that were provided to residents when either on the city's website or through other means to advertise what would be included if this millage passed?
Yes, correct. That was, we identified that there would be a dedicated indoor pickleball complex.
Okay, and there was some talk about table tennis and ping pong, and did that kind of come together after the millage was passed, or was that included in the information prior to the millage passing?
Yes, correct. That was all part of it.
Okay, and from your standpoint, what has changed from what the city provided voters to what's being voted on tonight?
The only difference that I can say that is different was what we took as representative imagery for people to understand what they could be voting on or what they could get for it. That facility that was put there was based on a purchasing property and building a new site. So when we went through strategic planning, there was a desire of council and direction from council to look at repurposing an existing site. And so we went in that direction as well. So at the time of the millage, really didn't know what would be available for us, whether there would be a parcel of land to purchase and build new, or whether there would be an existing facility. And as I spoke to many residents along the way, that's why we couldn't identify where or what it was going to be. But our goal was always to provide at least 8 pickleball courts within the facility and 6 table tennis courts.
Do you recall ever in any of the information that we provided before the millage was voted on, anything that said, we will absolutely 100% be building a brand-new pickleball facility with glass windows on multiple sides of the building?
that was not part of our educational component, no.
Okay. My own comment here, I just looked at the renderings that were provided prior to the millage being voted on, and this is, I mean, aside from windows, and we could put windows in here, right? It would just cost a heck of a lot of money, and I mean, I think for the most part, I can't say that I was in every voter's head when they went in and voted on this millage, but I would say the vast, vast majority, and I'd be surprised if I could find one voter out there that says, right now, well, darn it, I thought we were going to be getting a brand-new pickleball facility, and we're not. I thought we were going to be getting a pickleball facility with windows on 3 or 4 sides, and no, we're not. We're getting a pickleball facility in nearly the exact form that was promised to the residents who went to vote. And they were told, if you vote on this, your taxes will go up, but you will get all these amenities, including a pickleball facility. And from my standpoint, the voters are getting not 100% what was presented to them, but maybe like 99.9999% of what was presented to them. And I think that's pretty darn good. Did you consider going out and trying to negotiate a purchase of a building before the millage passed? No, right? Because how can you do that? How can you go out and negotiate to purchase a building that you don't have funding for? So it really wasn't an option to purchase land or to purchase the building before the millage passed, because how would we have paid for it? We needed to wait and to see what was going to happen. Once the millage passed in November of 2024, did you go out and look at facilities? Did you look at vacant land? Did you look at other properties that were listed for sale?
Did, yes. Number of them in different areas of the city. Again, when we were in strategic planning, we identified certain areas that were of priority around the city, so we focused our efforts there. We also, as we were kind of starting to go through the process of vetting different places, trying to understand what our dollar could get for us. Recognizing that we identified $10 million as our number, starting to work backwards for what construction costs were going to be. We had to make some decisions as to what was going to be the greatest value for the money that we had available to us. And I would say it pretty quickly became available that repurposing an existing building was going to be the way we were going to have to do it. We looked at smaller facilities. We looked at sites that had a facility that we might need to knock down and rebuild because it wasn't going to be a suitable building, and would need to then in turn build a new building on top of it. But that doesn't also work well with our sustainability efforts too. So we really wanted to take all of those pieces and find the best building that made sense.
Okay. And so in terms of those priorities, like keeping it within the $10 million budget, getting it ready for residents' use as quickly as possible, locating it in an area of the city where we don't have as many recreational amenities as we do here surrounding the city center campus. What are we talking about in terms of different comparable properties that you had to choose from? Are we talking about 8, 9, 10, 12 different properties that you thought, we could go with this one at Brome and Van Dyke, or we could go with this one? How many options, really fit the bill for all of those priorities you identified?
I would say that there were 0 other properties that truly fit everything that we were looking for. We were, in fact, there really weren't properties that had buildings on them even that were for sale that were suitable. Some were properties that were under contract that they were looking to lease. In fact, even talking with our economic development advisor, Mr. Bonner, he talked about some strip mall plazas and things like that, and just didn't make sense for us to encumber money that we wouldn't have control of the site, down the road in case the owner of the property decided they wanted to change what they were doing with the property. So really, our focus quickly narrowed to what was available with what was on the market and what we could afford to.
And how did you know this property was available?
Property was available. It was, if you did a basic search of vacant parcels or vacant buildings, that were on the commercial real estate market within square footage of 25,000 to 40,000 square feet. It was one of, I think, 3 that popped up in Sterling Heights.
Yeah, I'm on LoopNet, like literally right now, and I see 3 office, commercial, industrial buildings between 25,000 and 40,000 square feet. Only one of which is in the southern half of the city, and I don't think it would work. Do you know who made contact with the building owner? Did the building owner contact us? Did we contact them? Do you know?
There was a discussion, Mr. Gallo, did share that there was building available. And certainly was something that, piqued our interest when we did find out that it was available and that it could be something that we were able to purchase. But again, when you look at the few buildings that were, there, was the one building that truly fit our needs within, that search criteria.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Langlois. I appreciate it. I appreciate your work on this. It sounds like our legal department, our planning, Parks and Rec has put a lot of thought into this and was able to target a property that really makes a lot of sense for a number of reasons. I'm not sure what the process would have, I'm not sure what a better process would have looked like. I really don't. I'm not just saying that facetiously. I'm not sure what a better process would have been. This is how you buy and sell commercial property. The idea that the property is owned in an LLC is not something unique to Mr. Gallo. Every commercial property owner who has an attorney has their property in an LLC. It doesn't make any sense to own the property individually. Why would you own property individually when you can put it in an LLC and protect yourself from personal liability for no cost? It doesn't make any sense. The idea that an LLC was created here to somehow shield the identity of the purchaser is certainly not the case. If that were the case, then it would have been his attorney who was registered on the property, not is Mr. Gallo's office address in Washington Township. So that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're trying to protect from people finding out who owns this LLC, you don't have the registered office be your office where Gallo Companies is headquartered. I heard that there was a lack of transparency here. With what? What has not been transparent? I hear a lack of transparency. I haven't heard what wasn't transparent. The price is transparent. The owner is transparent. The fact that we voted on this and it passed is transparent. The fact that we promised a pickleball court, a pickleball facility, indoor pickleball facility for 12-month use was advertised. That was transparent. And so I'm not sure what the criticism is. I think it was a good process. I think it got us a great building in a great location, delivering to the taxpayers exactly what they voted for and asked for. And, to me, it's questions about, why are we doing this? Is this the right time? Is this a fad? It doesn't matter. The voters voted on it, and we're going to honor what the voters approved. And so I'm very comfortable with this. I think it's a great facility. I think it's going to be a great use for the city for many, many years. I think it's another example of an innovative project where the city of Sterling Heights is leading the way in Macomb County and beyond. And I think you're going to see a lot more of these facilities popping up because they're wildly popular, and I think they're going to get a lot of use. So I'm very excited about this, and I'll certainly be voting yes. So, council, I guess with no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 6-1. We'll move on to the next item on our agenda tonight, which is to consider amendments to the general policy set forth in the policy for the operation of cable television channels governing local election coverage and state and federal election coverage, with a presentation from our marketing and communications manager, Marissa Russo. Ms. Russo.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, members of council, city manager, and city attorney. For many years, the city of Sterling Heights has worked with the Sterling Heights Chamber of Commerce, now known as Connect Macomb, to broadcast a Meet the Candidates event. This has been an important way for residents to learn about the individuals running for local office and to make informed decisions at the polls. The policy that guides its coverage was written some time ago, and while it has served us well, it now needs to be updated to reflect today's voting process. Right now, it requires the form to be taped on the first Thursday in October, but since Michigan's election laws changed in 2018, absentee ballots are mailed out 40 days before Election Day, meaning many residents are already voting before this forum even takes place. To modernize the policy, we're recommending updating the chamber's name to Connect Macomb and allowing another similar nonpartisan group to host if Connect Macomb is unavailable, moving the taping to late September so voters can learn more about candidates before ballots are mailed out, updating how candidates are notified, allowing notice by regular mail and email with 2 weeks advance notice instead of 4. The most important change is moving the Meet the Candidates event earlier so it happens before absentee and early voting begins. The agenda statement recommends the 4th Wednesday in September, but we could also consider the 4th Tuesday or Thursday. Either way, the goal is the same, to ensure our voters have timely, reliable information before ballots are in their hands. Thank you for your consideration and can answer any questions at this time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Rousseau. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the amendments to section E and F of the general policy set forth in the policy for the operation of cable television channels governing local election coverage and state and federal election coverage respectively, except that the proposed amendment reflect that the Meet the Candidate event be held on the 4th Thursday of September.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Koski?
I believe that if we stick to Tuesdays and Thursdays for our special city events, it's a little easier to track. That way we know we have our Fridays and Wednesdays free.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Koski. Mrs. Sarowski?
Yeah, just briefly, I'm fine with the Thursday. I don't know if we need even to codify a specific day, but I'm happy with the last week of September. And as long as we're flexible and we can be available to all the residents, that's all I care about. So I'm very happy to support this.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Mrs. Zarko?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. I have no problem with, we have to make the changes because so many things have changed since we passed it, I think, in 2002. So we have to make some changes, updating names. I'm open to it being like the last week in September before the absentee ballots going, because it's a little more flexible. And I really think that administration has got to set the date even before they know people that are on the ballot. Because I think when we get notified about everything that happens and everything that we have to do when our name is on the ballot, it should also have the date of Meet the Candidates. So that's 4 months ahead of time and people can make plans. Because right now, if you're saying we're doing this the last week in September, it's only 3 weeks away. So people have evening plans, they work. So if you had that advanced notice, I think it would be helpful. And the other thing, in choosing an organization that would step in if Connect Macomb couldn't, I feel it should be a nonprofit that does not endorse or contribute to a candidate, because there are chambers out there that both endorse a candidate and contribute to their campaign. So, and I know that Connect Macomb never has, and that's the kind of organization that we need to moderate that forum. So I think that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Zarko. Anyone else? Mr. Radke?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just briefly, looking at the order, it says that the organization hosting it cannot endorse, or it's already written into the order. I don't think we need to change anything, because it says it can endorse and cannot have contributed already. I am comfortable with the 4th Thursday. I think it's good to just set a date so it's always known. And for the folks at home, the reason we're changing this is because the way that we vote has changed. And for years, we've heard complaints from everyone that with absentee ballots out now, a segment of the city has already significantly voted before they hear anything from the candidates. So this way we can make sure everyone gets in front of the voters instead of behind them. And it also just clears up What if Connect Macomb, for example, stopped functioning? We wouldn't be able to host this event anymore because right now, the order says that the Sterling Heights Chamber of Commerce can host this event. So we're going to make it so that hopefully this won't have to be amended for another 10, 15, 20 years. So I'm okay with this. I'm fine with Mrs. Koski's additions. I think this is pretty simple and it'll make it a lot easier. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Anyone else? Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good change, and we can quibble about which date it's going to be or not. I think from my standpoint, it seems to make more sense to leave it more open-ended and then let the city determine what the date is going to be based on the availability of the community center and the availability of community relations to tape, produce, and broadcast it, and the availability of the moderator. But Mr. Koszybski, do you have other thoughts on that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the reason for the suggested actual date is by putting it into the policy, every candidate that decides to run for election will know that it is always going to be that fourth Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever that date is. You'll know it. It's always there. So you can schedule around it. And because what you don't want to have happen is somebody say, I can't make it, and then now you're jockeying for position with the chamber who's supposed to be neutral on this to find out how many people can get there. Just take that off the table. Just pick the date. Everybody will know going forward in perpetuity that that is the date it is. The community center or wherever it's going to be held, whether it be chambers or community center, will be able to be reserved. It'll be standardized, and there won't be any dispute over, I can't make it because, well, you've had every year since now to know that it's that fourth Thursday of September.
Okay, that's fair, and I'm comfortable with it. Ms. Russo, do we know what time the event is going to be at? Has that been determined? Is that yet to be determined? Because I don't think it says it doesn't say in the policy what time.
I know historically we've had the mayor meet the candidate at 9 a.m. and then following, I think, 10:30, we had the rest of council meet the candidates. So I believe that's the forum or the way that we're going to continue the process.
Okay. I mean, look, if it's not in the policy, my 2 cents is that I think you get more participation from the residents if you do it in the evening. You do it during working hours, then the vast majority of the people who would maybe be interested in attending it can't be there. But that,
I concur.
those are my 2 cents. I think it'd be better at night.
I would point out real quick that this policy is really for our telecommunications channels to cover it. The event itself is held by Connect Macomb and is organized by Connect Macomb. If they determine that an evening is a better time to do it, they can definitely look into doing that. But it's really their event. It's not the city's event.
Understood. Yep, got it. Okay. Well, hopefully Connect Macomb is listening.
I'm sure.
I'm sure they are.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Russo. All right, council, anyone else? No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is a consideration item, and this is to consider an appointment to the City of Sterling Heights. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 9:32. So it's 9:32, so we're going to move to communications from citizens. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on any item that was not on tonight's agenda? Mr. Nelson.
Oh, but you should stay. Again, Ken Nelson, Sterling Heights. The talk about transparency. Okay, do you realize that we, the people, cannot critique our elected officials at an open meeting? Okay? While things are happening, as far as considerations, as far as ordinance adoptions, as far as anything else. You guys all go through your little how you feel about everything. But the citizens don't get to come on after you and critique the job that you're doing in public. The order here needs to change. It happens every time. We sit here, I'm one of the more vocal people, but we sit here every time during any of these considerations, and the first thing that happens, we get a brief from people that are involved in these considerations, and then we turn around and citizens, what would you like to say about this? Then you guys sit up here for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and you keep going back and forth. There's no opportunity for us to come back up before you vote and say what we think about what you're saying. You need to change. You need to change how the people, you might have more people come here if they're able to tell you what they think of what you're doing. Transparency. You want to talk about the November vote and the January 2040 planning. The transparency was not there. The transparency back to the voter. The voter said, okay, go ahead and do it. And then what did you guys do? You went in and changed it the way you wanted it, the way he wanted it. You did. You went and changed things. There was no discussion about what kind of building, anything like that. Prior to that, there was no transparency. I agree with you, Mr. Yanis. Change the order of who speaks when in this whole thing. Don't have the people come up and have to speak on something they don't know what you people are thinking. We want to be able to give you input. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Anyone else? Mr. Shea?
Good evening, Jerry Shea, Sterling Heights. This is the real reason I'm coming tonight. This is information for the council and the residents. Next Wednesday at the Planning Commission for the City of Sterling Heights, it's going to be held at this chamber September 10th at 7. You're going to have a major corner that's going to start a new development. In August, 16 Mile and Mound, the Detroit Free Press and News building is closed. It's been sold, and now they're in the process of redevelopment. Well, next Wednesday, this issue has faced many communities around the metro area, and it's been a hot-button issue. Sheets is coming, and it's going to be on the agenda at the Planning Commission. Just for everyone's, I'm in favor of it coming. It's going to be a big issue. You're going to have a lot of, I don't know how many people are going to come down here, but I can tell you in Macomb Township, it was crazy. It happened in Shelby. They did one in Warren, Farmington Hills, and this is a big corner to develop. It's like the last major one in the middle of everything. And I think Sheets it'll fit perfectly in an industrial complex. Besides Sheets coming, you have a major, what's going to happen behind it, the two buildings and everything. You have a lot to think about. So I'm encouraging the residents, if you're for it or against it, next Wednesday at 7 p.m., it's going to be the third item on the Planning Commission's agenda. Come down and speak your mind. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shea. Just a point of clarification. It's going to be on the October agenda, not September.
They postponed.
Yeah, it's. Postponed it? Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll have Mr. or Dr. Parcell. That's fair, yeah. I just want to make, that's okay. They can come on Wednesday, the 10th, and see what's happening that day, too. I'm sure there'll be wonderful proposals. Dr. Parcell.
Yes, no, thank you for bringing it up. It is on the agenda currently. It'll just be a one-page memo in the packet to postpone it until October. The applicant submitted a lot split that's not yet been processed, which led to some inaccuracies in the noticing. So to notice it correctly, we are going to renotice for October. Additionally, the plans have changed somewhat due to some input from the county on the road commission and from our Office of Engineering. So reworking them, we'll notice it correctly, and it will have the public hearing at the October hearing. That is the second Wednesday in October, so I'll get the date really quickly. But if you do have any questions in the meantime, if you're a resident or watching, you can email me directly, jparcell, JPARCELL at sterlingheights.gov, to talk about sheets. I'm happy to. But otherwise, it'll be heard officially October 8th.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Parcell, and thank you, Mr. Shea. Anyone else under communications from citizens? Now I'll close that portion. We'll go back to our agenda, and the last item on our agenda tonight is to consider an appointment to the City of Sterling Heights Sustainability Commission. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we have one appointment to make. Is there anyone who'd like to make that appointment?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you. Resolve to appoint Jennifer Fleming to the Sustainability Commission to a term ending June 30th, 2026, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Sarowski?
Just very briefly, Ms. Fleming, she's a resident of Sterling Heights. She is very involved. She is working on her master's in environmental issues, is what it kind of says. She's a financial analyst. She's been very active with the ecology and nature events. So I think she is a good fit. So I'm very happy to appoint her.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Council, anyone else? No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Go on to reports from city administration. Anything tonight, Mr. Vanderpool?
Mayor, just quickly, Mr. Shea asked a question under consent agenda regarding the shared use path on Dobry that will go from DeQuinder over to, actually it'll connect to Heritage Park. It'll connect 4 communities as well. So it's a great project. Fortunately, we were able to get a grant for a significant, over 50% of that project. The total cost is just under $3 million. The city share is $1.6 million. 1.3 million, just under 1.3 million. We did require 3 easements that we had to achieve. One was donated by Corewell Health. The other, the city had to actually purchase. So all in all, the easements were under $50,000. So in terms of the overall cost of the project, relatively minor. It's a really exciting project. We're seeing over $50 million of development in that area, Mound and M59, between private developments, public investments such as projects like this, and it will be transforming the area for sure. But most importantly, connecting 4 communities and improving pedestrian travel along that corridor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. Mr. Koszybski?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Council, any reports, new business? Mrs. Zarko?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Briefly, last week I went to a ribbon cutting at Susie Q's Kids, which is a nonprofit that just moved into Sterling Heights. They were running it out of their home for like 15 years. They moved into Sterling Heights, and what they do is provide, they're like packages but they're specific to the child's needs. So they have, some of them are for sick kids that go to all of the Ronald McDonald houses. There's 4 in Michigan. They support them all. Grieving kids go to hospice agencies. Shelters would be like Turning Point, McCrest. Foster care would be like our friends of foster kids. They help them out. There's other autism, kids get a bag that is more sensory than maybe somebody that's getting a bag that is hygiene. So I just wanted to bring the some information about it. They're always looking for volunteers to pack bags. I'm sure that through the city we can help you find them. If you have a Girl Scout troop or somebody's working on a service project or they need community service hours, they're more than welcome to go there and help out. They get like, I want to say 10,000 pairs of socks from Bombas that they distribute. It's just some of the other national organizations that help them out as well. So I think it's a good cause. And actually the foundation was set up in honor of their daughter who died from cancer when she was 31 years old, and her parents wanted people to remember her. So that's how they met and started this foundation. So I thought it was great that the county sheriffs actually have bags in their cars, in their vehicles, so that when they come up to a site, if there's a child that's involved, they have something to pass to that child. So thought it was a good organization. It was a worthwhile afternoon. Another thing, it's National Library Card Month. So go in, if you haven't, if it's your time to renew your card, because you have to do it every 3 years, now would be the time to stop there. While you're there, you can join the Friends of the Library. And the library is having an open house on September the 14th from 2 to 4, so you can stop in and see some different programming that day. So, nothing further. And one more thing. I forgot to mention Elaine when we were talking about the Artemovich family, because it wasn't for her, Bob wouldn't be where he's at right now. Just saying.
Plug in.
Thank you, Ms. Zarko. Anyone else?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you very much. So just wanted to remind the residents that there is no longer music in the park, but Dodge Park Thursdays are still going on, so please come to the park. If you need produce, anything at the farmer's market, obviously, and we're also doing the paw day, or the dog paw day, which will also be included, and those events are just so community building. We don't need the music always. It's hard to talk through the music sometimes. So this is an opportunity to actually sit down, get some food, get some produce, and visit with your neighbors. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski.
Mayor
Mrs.
Taylor, through the chair to Mr. Koszybski. So it came up tonight, Mr. Nelson brought up the order of our meeting. Can you tell me, have we changed the order of the meeting? Or how long has how we've done council meetings been in place?
Mr. Koszybski.
I think it's been going on like this since beyond my time, and I'm 9.5 years.
So probably when Mr. Nelson was on city council, it was run the same way. I'm not sure because I wasn't on council back then.
Deanna said 36 years.
So when
I'll go with
Mr.
our
Nelson, when Mr. Nelson was on council, it was ran the same way that we run it now. So we haven't changed any procedure. We haven't changed the way it's been done to hide anything. So I just wanted to make that clarification. Thank you. And school's back in session, so I'm hoping that everyone obeys those bus lights and keeps all the kids safe. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Mr. Radke.
Yeah, just to second what Councilwoman Schmidt said, the one change that I remember, and I've sat in the audience since 2013, was we used to have unlimited speaking time.
Yeah.
And that was both a blessing and a curse, because if there was a very important subject and it made a lot of sense, it was good to hear more information. But it ended up happening that a lot of people were filibustering at the time, and our meetings would take forever, because people would come in and talk about smart meters and all the problems with smart meters, and Karen Springer would wear tinfoil, and it was a whole thing. So the one change that I remember is we've changed the amount of time people can speak. But I was going to comment on this just by itself. We have to remember that our council meetings are business meetings. It's meetings for the council to decide deliberative policy for the city. We have citizen input because we're required to, and because it's good to have citizen input. But it's not a citizens meeting, it's the city council's meeting. And yeah, we don't have limits on our speaking time because we are deliberating. We are trying to decide policy. We cannot decide policy in private. It's against the law. So we have to do it right here at the council table. So that's why we get more time, because we are trying to make the best decisions for our residents. The idea that once we talk, we go back to the audience is crazy, because our meetings would, one, end up all night, and two, it's like a heckler's veto. You know, we're going to make those decisions we make. And once we make that decision, I don't think it matters what the audience says at that point. I think at that point, the decision has been made. So I don't understand why we'd change our meeting. I think it's just unhappiness. People are unhappy about them not winning elections, not getting their way, not being able to campaign. We see that today. People come and they make their statement and they leave, because it's not about actually engaging with city council. It's about being seen on TV and essentially just getting a little bit of face time in front of people. So that's frustrating. I think our meetings run fine. Honestly, I think they've run shorter than they have traditionally in the past. I remember when I was in the audience, we'd be here till midnight frequently, and that's very rare nowadays, thankfully. So I have no problem with how we run our meetings. I'm happy with the weather right now, and I can't wait for fall to really start. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Mrs. Koski?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool. I've had a couple calls, and I wonder if you could eventually give us an update on the mosque there on 15 Mile Road, what their progress is, what their plans are. Is there anything that we should expect to see soon?
Mr. Vanderpool?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Koski, I know that houses of worship are a concern in that they normally take a long time to get constructed. And this is no different. Typically, it's all done through fundraising. It's pay-as-you-go. So historically, we've had these challenges. But I'll get council an update. It's slow going. There's been some progress, limited. Same with the Bosnian Mosque on 16 and a half. The mosque over on M59 and Ryan is going much quicker, fortunately, but I'll be happy to get you an update.
And my only other comment is the only change we've made is the time limits. Because when we have a resident bring in a bag of garbage, that one took a little while, so.
For a pizza box. Remember the pizza box full of flyers and?
Oh, not talking about the garbage bag.
Big, huge pizza.
I remember.
Oh, it was a big pizza box.
I remember when they dumped the garbage in front of the podium and you made them pick them up.
So, yeah, a couple changes. That's all, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Koski. Council, anyone else? Yeah, so I was gonna say that, I think that the time change, look, I think the problem I had with the way it was before is, Mayor Noddy, God bless him, and, may he rest in peace, he would, sometimes I'd look over at him like, what the heck are you doing? I mean, she's been going on for 17 minutes. And 17 minutes is too long. And I'm telling you, I kept notes and I'd write this 17 minutes. And we'd have 3 people who would speak for 50 minutes. And it really, I think, discourages other people from coming out and participating. So I think this is a good setup right now. I would also say one of the things that I think is unique about Sterling Heights, not that we're the only city that does this, but I would say that majority of the cities that I've talked to, you have one speaking portion at the beginning of the meeting to talk about anything on the agenda, and you have one speaking portion at the end of the meeting to speak about anything not on the agenda. And some just give you one opportunity, and you get 3 or 4 minutes, generally 3, and that's it. You speak once, and you go back and sit down, and then the council conducts its business. Sterling Heights is one of the only cities I'm aware of that allows residents to come up and speak on every single agenda item over and over and over and over. And, we had Mr. Nelson, Mr. Shea, Mr. Smith. Mr. Nelson, Mr. Shea, Mr. Smith. Mr. Nelson, Mr. Shea. I mean, we have 135,000 residents. They know the time, they know the place, they can come out here if they want. But I don't think it's necessary to have the council speak first and then have a handful of residents come up and give a rebuttal. I mean, it's not gonna work. It doesn't make any sense. Then does the city council get to rebut again? And we could go back and forth and we could be here all night. I disagree fundamentally that you say you can't criticize or critique. Yeah, that's what you were doing. You were up here critiquing the city council. Well, yeah, right there. While you were saying, while the words were coming out of your mouth, I'm not allowed to critique city council, you were actively critiquing the city council. So I think we got a really good balance here where residents are welcome to come up under every single agenda item and let their voice be heard. And so I think we should continue as it is. So council, with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.